This is the Old 77 Podcast. Hey, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Old 77 Podcast. Hey, what's up?
So, Omnicron, how's things going over
Oh, dude, I'm so tired from moving so fast through people. One by one, I capture their immune system and I make them cough and spit and make them feel like shit.
Well, you're going to be able to make it? You're going to overdo it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm dying so slowly here. But these dumbasks who keep wearing their masks. Omnicron.
Omnicron, everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah.
Tip your waitress, tip your waitress.
We're gonna fuck the female Omicron right now. Make another variant called Decepticon.
That's what they should name the next one, right?
Who are you? Turn it up, let it blast. Hey, bitches. This is Old 77 Podcast.
It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world. Impressive.
Warning, foul language may occur due to the subject matter.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Join our Patreon Clubhouse today. Clubhouse members get early access to episodes and exclusive after-hours content at patreon.com/theold77podcast.
That's a huge bitch.
Thanks for listening.
Can you feel the tension? I can. I can feel it down in my plums. You get a nice bluish hue.
From the Old 77 Studios, this is the Old 77.
It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
I rolled a.
Yeah, that ain't never going to get old. I'm sorry.
Gentlemen,
JT, welcome back to the show, brother.
Oh, thanks as always for having me, guys. I mean, I really look forward to catching up with you. It's an honor, but at the same time, it's one of the highlights of my very reclusive life is getting to catch up with my friends. So,
Heck yeah.
thanks for having me.
Right
of
on,
course,
man.
man. We're always excited to have you on, man.
Yeah.
It feels like we've done this before.
And it does. It feels like we have done this.
We've practiced it once or twice.
We did practice. We talked all about Tongo.
See, the people at home don't
Tonga
know
Frango.
that there's a dress rehearsal
Yeah.
prior to the actual recording of the show.
Yeah.
Also, there are some people that don't know that JT lives in Auckland, New Zealand.
That's right.
Dude's literally in the future. You're what, 13 hours?
Yeah, it's 2:30 p.m. on Friday the 28th here.
Yeah.
And it's 7:30 here. 7:32.
And here we are doing a podcast.
Here we are, all doing a podcast.
I spoke to JT earlier today via Messenger, I think, and I was really just kind of getting my day started, and he said, "All right, Dave, I'm off to bed.
Yep.
I'll talk to you later."
Dude, there's times I will go to bed talking to JT, and I wake up the next morning still talking to JT.
Yeah,
When do you ever sleep, man?
not much, I don't think.
3 hours a night.
Lately I've been sleeping a bit more, but because of the time off from the 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
I kind of reverted back to my Dracula phase. I've
Yeah.
always been a night owl. And for those of you that are night owls, they've done study after study that night owls are like 20 to 30% more intelligent than the average population.
what I
So,
hear.
hey, Scotty,
That's what I hear, man.
ups to you.
I don't
but-
believe it.
Yeah.
Don't
I
forget
don't-
about me, boys.
Don't believe it.
I'm a night owl.
Wait, I didn't see you raise your hand.
I'm smart.
What? Look, Matt, I love you, and I'll be nice to you, but what do we expect from a city that threw batteries at J.D. Drew in the outfield, and he had to wear a batting helmet while he was in the outfield?
Dude, we still talk about tossing batteries. A
Batteries.
friend of ours tossed literal batteries at his wedding.
Yes, our friend Goody, he actually tossed a battery at my wife and I after the ceremony was over at
Yeah.
the wedding.
Sweet gesture.
So
We had people from Philly ready to rage,
dude,
man.
we always have a good laugh. I always say that when my daughter holds a battery, she like feels naturally like it comes natural to her.
Yeah.
She's like, Why does this feel so good, Daddy?
Right.
Well, it's because it's in your blood.
It's in
girl.
your blood, darling.
Yeah.
Come from a long line of battery
So-
throwers.
Now
So
boo
is-
this
is-
man.
As bad as some fans in Philly can be, I think the worst I ever saw was when I lived in San Diego. I wasn't a Chargers fan, but the game was all the time. And it was at the end of the year, and it's back when they had like Tomlinson and
LT.
I can't remember the quarterback, but they
Was it Drew
yeah
Brees?
yeah they had LT and they had Seau and that.
Oh, it was
No, it was before Breeze.
I can't think of who that
Humphreys,
was.
maybe.
Maybe it
Yeah,
was.
I think maybe it was
Humphreys,
Stan Humphreys. Yeah. Well, they were playing the last game of the season in New York, and the fans, like, it had been snowing, so the fans are throwing snowballs at the the officials and the players, and basically they said if the fans keep it up, they're gonna forfeit the game. So the Chargers assistant manager, who's like 70 some, and he was a New York native, he goes out and he's begging the fans to stop, and somebody throws an ice ball at him and knocked him out, and they had to drag him off the field. And it's like a 75-year-old man, right? I was like,
Jesus.
okay.
Oh my God.
And then people were asking me, yeah. And this is probably 25 years ago, man.
Yeah.
So
Good
When you
God.
mention a 75-year-old man, I'm reminded of the time Pedro Martinez threw Zimmer. Is that his name? The dude from the Yankees.
Oh yeah, Don Zimmer.
yeah,
Don
yeah.
Zimmer,
Don
yeah.
Zimmer, yeah.
When Pedro grabbed him by his bald head and threw him down on the ground, man. You remember
Well,
that?
Zimmer.
I don't.
Zimmer came at him though. He tried to
He did come at him.
fist up with him.
He did come at him, and Pedro, like the accomplished martial artist that he is, used Don Zimmer's
Right.
own weight against him and grabbed him by the dome. And
I mean,
threw
is
him
Pedro
down.
supposed to let an old man try to beat him up on
Hey
national
man,
television?
just because he's old doesn't mean he doesn't need an ass whipping.
Well, he got
Exactly.
one.
You know?
Someone is sick of his
Hey,
shit
number
too.
one. Number one, he's a Cub, right? So I can never forgive the fact that Don Zimmer had anything to do with the Cubs. But second, I reckon that guy was probably like a baller gangster in the 40s.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
probably having razor fights in school and that. So yeah. Again, I know he's older than Pedro, but I'm just saying he could probably handle his own.
Used
Him
to
and Red
sleep with a
Shandings were
hatchet.
probably dueling with ice picks out in the parking lot.
In the streets of Chicago.
Absolutely.
In the streets of Chicago,
Now that just makes me want
here,
baseball.
see?
dueling in the streets.
I see you have your Chicago T-tush, bitch.
So hey, we should mention for our listeners that maybe haven't watched an episode with JT on it yet. Our friend JT has a great podcast
Yes.
called The Paranormal Sun.
Yeah.
Anybody who listens to our show knows that you have the paranormal son.
That's right. That's right, man. We love it. How's that going?
What can
Yeah,
we expect?
A while back, it was around October, November, because again, being only me, Tower Studios and Army of One, but I was kind of trolling through my stats, and out of all cities in the U.S., it's a bit weird with the way the stats show because, for example, it won't say New York City. It will say Brooklyn. It kind of breaks it down to a suburb.
yeah.
But Jeff City was third or fourth nationwide in the U.S.
Yeah.
and that's pretty impressive.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I don't know where you're sitting now, but yeah, just to break that, yeah, that's pretty damn good, man.
Hopefully we just bumped you up a couple more spots.
Yeah, man.
We'll see.
So when we do the same thing and we look at our stats, we can break it down by country, and New Zealand is always the top country that's listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
Share the love, right?
Share the love.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
Wow. Look, I'm glad because I'm listening, but I'm not listening that much, guys. I'm not
Right.
firing up every device in the house to up your playthrough. So
Just looping us all day long,
Well,
right?
you're listening to us more than anyone else in any other country than man.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
So
that's it. Hey, I'm glad.
So how many countries are the Paranormal Sun heard in now?
86, I believe,
Wow.
as of the other day.
86.
That's awesome.
That's impressive, man. You're blowing us away on that one. I think we just hit like 50, I think.
50?
Yeah.
So not bad.
No, we're not doing bad at all.
Can you go?
No, definitely not, man. Look, when I started out, I just was kind of like, it'd be cool to get listens in some of the countries where I've covered stuff from. So it's like, okay, I do an episode about France, let's say a French UFO.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've got to listen from France. But when I started getting listens from like Vietnam and Nepal, and it's like, what the? Hey, thank you. But wow, like, I never expected that kind of,
we've got quite
listenership.
A few as of late in Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was strange.
These guys are fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
it's like, what is that all about? I love it.
Take it.
Well, I get the VPN thing, but like you say, I mean, the odds of somebody routing stuff through like Cambodia is pretty low.
Right.
It's usually the larger countries.
Yeah.
Russia, China, Switzerland is a big one. But yeah, man, there are a lot, but it's one of those things where you don't see when you're in the U.S., but when you've been out of the borders, there's a lot of people around the world. You'd be surprised how many times I'll catch up with a podcaster and they're based in Vietnam or China or we are a worldwide plague, us Americans. We get around.
Absolutely, we do.
Says the American who's gotten around.
True.
He's halfway away.
Well,
he's half a world
I've been
away.
a few places.
We were talking here a while back, and I was telling the story of when we reconnected, and I think our washing machine had died, and I was like, man, I'm looking for a washing machine. I really need a washer. This guy, he's like, hey, I got a washing machine. It's on the back porch. You can have it. It's all yours. I'm like, oh, dude, thanks. Thinking he still lives in Illinois, right? I'll just drive up wherever and get it. And he's like, no, you got to ship it from New Zealand.
Yeah.
It was a nice offer, though.
It was
still
a hell
nice
of an offer.
Yeah.
Still holding you to that thing, too, by the way.
Shipping on that has to be a bitch, right?
I've still got it, Scotty. It's on the other side of the wall where I'm sitting at the computer. So
Well,
it's still here
yes.
for you.
He's
I haven't
right.
given it away.
Good news, he's saving
He's
it for
saving
you.
it for me.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
JT,
Yes.
what are you working on right now for Paranormal Sun?
Yes, Dave, I'm saving it. I'm definitely not a hoarder. I'm saving it for Scott.
I'm trying to help you out, man. I'm trying to help you out.
Hey, man, whatever you got to tell yourself.
Yeah. Tell us what you're working on, man, for the show. You in the middle of anything right now?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, last month has been rough so, I mean, you know my show and I share pretty much everything. And so my, for lack of a better term, wife, we're not legally married, but we've been together for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, you're married.
She woke up. Yeah, that's it. She woke up in the afternoon and came out and said like her leg was sore and asked me if I'd just rub it. So I did. And like those fainting goats, like she just literally just like went out and fell over sideways instead of dropping down and fell through the sliding glass window.
Oh man.
And when she kind of came to, I'm freaking out. It's like when she came to, I go, honey or dear, whatever. I was like the window, and she pulls her arm back and she goes, oh, sorry. And when she pulled her arm back, her arm just looked like a spiral cut ham. Like she had this massive cut. And yeah. And I'm a trained first aider. And I'd encourage anyone out there to get your first aid. But when your loved one, it's just completely different when you see someone you love.
Yeah.
But within a few, 10 seconds, the training kicked in, and I looked at it. I said, okay, I'm not going to bandage this up. And I just picked up the phone and called the ambulance.
Yeah, what can you do?
It was actually kind of a good thing it happened because they found an underlying heart condition.
Oh, wow.
Which it looks like medication is going to solve. Yeah, it's heart arrhythmia. So, where her heart was racing and dropping and racing and dropping. And this is why she's always tired. Like she would sleep 8 hours, wake up and feel worn out, and always felt hot when it wasn't really hot out, and on and on and on. And the doctors for the last 2 years have just been like, oh, you need to lose weight, or you're getting you're getting your menopause when she was only like in her late 30s. So thankfully they caught it, went in and spent a week in hospital, and now she's home and the arm's healed up. But
That's
yeah,
good.
that just kind of going through that, it just threw everything out the window, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. You sent me a picture of that window, and
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, that window has seen better days,
Oof.
but that's replaceable, right? People aren't.
On the nosy.
I don't know if you can see it right now on your chat, Scotty, but on my phone I'll send you through those gruesome photos because Matt probably hasn't seen them.
Nothing
Yeah,
we
I
love
mean,
more than some gruesome
cut meat.
photos.
I cut meat for years.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
sliced myself up pretty good, but when you see someone you love like that, it's like, oh, okay, yep, time to get the experts in here.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that would scare the shit out of me. We have a big sliding glass door at my house, and my kids are always goofing around by there, and I'm always freaking out, thinking that one of them's going to go flying through it.
No, I don't see him yet, JT.
I'm just really glad she's doing well now.
Yeah, man. That's great.
She is. She's back to work, and as far as the show, Dave, I do have things in the works. I've been editing that episode that you did with me and Timmy.
Yeah.
And Dave, not to call you out on the air, but I found the source of the echo, and it was you because when Timmy would talk and I would talk, there'd be an echo, but when you would talk, there's no echo.
Yeah.
So
How? I wonder how though, because I was wearing
so
headphones.
it's just so you know for future.
Yeah. But shouldn't it not echo if I have headphones on?
I don't know.
We have those issues
I
quite
thought
a
that
bit.
was how
It shouldn't.
worked, but-
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it shouldn't.
I don't know. It was still a good time though. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Of course. And
man.
that's it. And I'll clean it up as best as I can. And I've got some other interviews I'm working on, and then of course I've got to do the long-awaited Betty and Barney Hill #3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right on.
That'll be a
So
good
yeah,
one.
I've been listening
Yeah.
to those episodes.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
The
man.
most famous of all UFO.
Oh,
pretty close.
cases,
Yeah, absolutely. It was
Yeah.
the first big one.
Back in the 60s, right? That happened?
Yeah, early 60s, I
Early
think.
yeah,
60s?
661, I believe.
hmm
Yeah,
That sounds right. Yeah.
That's wild.
Just
dude,
had
wow.
their 60th anniversary of the case, actually, Matt.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, you guys know the Paranormal Sun as well as anyone, and I try and cover those kind of more obscure cases, but that's been my theory the last few seasons. Is I kick off a new season, it's like, okay, for your season premiere, then we're gonna cover a big case. So that's why I did Lonnie Zamora, and I'm doing Betty and Barney Hill. It's just that I didn't expect this to be taking the time it has.
Yeah. And here it is too, up on the screen. Here's that cut he said that looked like spiral cut
yeah,
ham.
Look at that. Man.
That's after it healed a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
She's so lucky where she cut it on the back of her arm and missed the arteries and the
Yeah.
veins.
man.
And when I saw it and how deep it was, guys, I was
Jesus.
really worried she might have cut like
Oh
a
my
tendon,
God.
Yeah.
and she might have the.
And didn't?
but she was so fortunate.
Wow.
No, it
Jesus.
didn't, and she was so fortunate that it happened at home, and I was
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, if she would have blacked out driving, obviously.
Oh my
Jesus, that'd have
God.
been it. Oh,
Right? You don't even want to think about that. Oh my God.
that's horrible.
No.
You know, it sounds like something. I mean, clearly that's bad. She got cut, right? Had to get stitches, but that potentially saved her life, man.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
That's a blessing in disguise, right there.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Well, when she was in the hospital, the first day she had a room. So the first day, obviously, she went through like the emergency room. But when she had the room, I turned up, and she was asleep. And they had like, because she was in like high, I think call it like cardiac care here. She had the big monitor above her bed, you know, like one of our big screen monitors, and she was sleeping. Right, I walked in the room, she's asleep. I wasn't gonna wake her up. And I was watching her heartbeat, and it would kind of go along at kind of 50 to 60 beats. And then all of a sudden, like 160, 180 for like 5 to 10 seconds and then drop back down. So what I'm saying is
That's weird.
she's been dealing with this for ages. And obviously you ain't faking shit like that.
No.
So when I saw that, I just felt so bad because she's complained about things, but like all of us, we start to get older and things don't necessarily work like they used to, and you just kind of go, well, it's part of aging. But uh, afterwards, like as you often do, I blame myself, and I was like, I should have basically got the doctor by the neck and strangled him to make him let her see a specialist. But like I say, it looks like at this point we don't know 100%, but it's like 95% sure it'll be medication only. She won't need like a pacemaker, but they said that's like last resort, is that she'd have to have like a pacemaker type device.
That's awesome, man. That though they found it now, though, you know, and that you can,
fully agree,
and that you can do it with medication. Yeah, hell yeah. So I was gonna say,
and as we all know, I mean, oh, sorry, but I was just gonna say, as we all know, things like this happen. And we tend to kind of review things and put things in perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I just came out. I did a couple of short commercials, because there's lots of people that just listen to the show and they don't follow on social media. So I just said, hey, look, guys, this is my priority, and I'll be back as soon as I can. But,
right.
You know, I'd be a pretty sad human if oh no, I've got an episode to do, so you just fend for yourself, you know?
I know what you mean. My wife's fending for herself right now.
My wife and kids are too. Absolutely.
They're not hurt, though, so I totally get where you're coming from.
Speak for your family, Scott.
Yes,
not mine.
I will only speak for my family. Dave's family is at home hurting right now, apparently. Your wife's probably got him holding on to stuff, and she's lifting them,
she's
yelling
using them as
at
dumbbells
them.
right
Yeah,
now,
hell
sure.
yeah. Does she ever do that? You ever yell at the kids while you're dumbbelling them? You just like lift it. 4 more sets of 5, damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah. Hell of a time, boys.
Hell of a time, boys. So we're going to take a break. We're going to reconnect with JT because we're starting to break up just a little bit.
All right.
A big thanks to all of our Patreon patrons. This guy right here.
Including this guy.
JT and the Paranormal Son.
Absolutely. The reason why we've got all this nice equipment.
That's right.
Yeah, check them out anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yep, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
To our boy, Sir Biscuit Strength, who'll be on next week.
That's right.
Biscuit was going to be on this week. JT was going to be on next week. But we had a last-minute sickness, so everybody decided to flip. Good to go.
You can't be on this show these days unless you've been sick. So
But
Taylor
I feel,
decided he was going to get sick this week.
I feel that's right.
Taylor is going to lift 100 pounds with his nutsack next week.
Absolutely.
We're going to have terrage. I hope there's going to be a triage outside. It's going to be awesome. Also, thanks to the Jeff City Paranormal Society.
Love those guys.
Love those guys.
Yes.
And Will, he's always answering everything we say.
Everything.
It seems like on YouTube.
Love that guy.
We said something just the other day about tours. Will answered us on YouTube. I love it.
Scott, did you see the video of Matt's cat falling off the table and then Matt
And
falling
then
out
Matt
of his
fa-
chair?
Oh, my God. I
That
laughed
was
so
hilarious.
hard at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for putting that
Big
up.
thank
No
you to
doubt.
Jacqueline for
Oh,
putting that one
yes.
up. We love it.
Oh. So, guys, we'll take a break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right back.
We'll be right back.
On the flip.
On the old 77.
God, I hope we get a return appearance from Omicron this week.
Yes, I'm here.
Omicron.
Just waiting.
Hey guys, it's Matt, and we always talk about Last Flight Brewing Company, and we never exaggerate on how good it is there. They have this wonderful indoor space where you can fit a bunch of your friends or your family. You can take your dog in there. Also, kids are welcomed. We can all drink as equals. It's a great spot. If you want to sit outside, there's tons of space. It's a great spot for a sunny afternoon with friends, families, even colleagues. You can do it all out there. Games, cornhole, whatever your vice is. They also have a carefully crafted beer menu which changes all the time. Each beer they put out is delicious. Also, Last Flight won first place at the Missouri Beer Festival. They've come a long way in a short time, so check them out. You can find them on Facebook and online at lastflightbrewing.com. If you're local, check out Last Flight Brewing Company today. Go enjoy some sunshine. Get off your couch. Go right now. Fill up your growler.
Now here we go again, making me hungry.
Now you just
Now here we go again.
so when you get that, man, so you get your happy pizza, and you have to make sure that you get the shake to go with it that's made with bath salts, you know. and then it kind of balances things out.
Yeah, you got to throw a little bath salt in there just to, keep things.
Eat your happy pizza. Hey, welcome back to the old 77.
It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
World.
We were just talking off mic about a guy JT knew from Cambodia, and he used to go to this pizza place in Cambodia. It's called Happy Pizza.
No. You used to buy pizza in Cambodia.
Pizza. Sorry, that's what I meant.
And they made it with marijuanas.
Right.
Marijuanas.
So I'm actually on the website right now.
Are you? Let's move on over to your computer then. There you go. Look
Cambodian.
at that. The Mad
Happy
Monkey.
Pizza.
Wow.
Look at that.
I bet the Uber charge would be pretty expensive to Jeff City, though, man.
Nah, man, not at all.
It looks
It's cheaper than a plane ticket.
You know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy? Because I've been here so long, in my mind, which is a very dangerous place, guys.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
in my mind, you still remember when we were growing up, Scotty, and like my old man always used to say, "Oh, I remember you used to get 2 Cokes for a nickel."
Oh God, yes.
And you go to the vending machine and you get change for a nickel, and you get like a fucking 3-gallon Coca-Cola.
Right.
So still in my mind, like I've got a lot of prices in the U.S. in my mind as like the prices left. But I was watching like a video the other day on YouTube, just one of those kind of clickbait things caught my eye. And I started looking at like the kind of cost for stuff now. And when you take into account the exchange rate, a lot of stuff in the U.S., man, is getting pretty damn close to what it costs here.
It is.
So I think like he was saying, like, yeah. And honestly, Matt, like, because when I first came here, it was so much cheaper in the U.S. Than it was here. And it's like we're dying right now. Like, you guys think your gas price is high. So you're paying how much is a gallon of gas right now?
It's about $3.
$3.
Yeah.
$3 a gallon.
Oh, okay.
A gallon.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You're paying by the
So
liter, if I remember right.
We're nearing $3 a liter, which is about $10.50 a gallon, which is about in US dollars that'll be kind of $7 a gallon.
Yep.
So, yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's causing a lot of pain here.
Yeah, there's
they're saying because our inflation is mirroring yours, it's just going nuts here.
There's
the
happy.
There's the crazy happy pizza right there, boys.
Yummy.
Look at that. It's got all the oils, essential oils and shit on it.
Dude, that really does look yummy.
Yeah, it says right here that traveler hotspots all across Cambodia are dotted with the Happy Pizza restaurants.
Happy Pizza restaurant.
Where you can get a stone-baked slice with a little extra seasoning.
Stoned baked slice.
We're not talking about rosemary, motherfucker. No.
Somebody's got a talkie vocabulary.
We're talking weed, ganja, chronic, high grade, pot, herb, reefer, Mary Jane, dope.
The crust on that thing looks
right.
All the nicknames for the herb that makes that pizza special.
Maddie's whipping out all the nicknames.
At Happy Pizza.
Happy Pizza.
You have fun time.
No bathroom.
Maddie, you forgot you forgot to say the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Devil's lettuce, electric lettuce.
Hey, you'll be stuffed and constipated and still hungry afterwards.
Oh, I love it.
Get the Metamucil out, baby.
Well, we went to Happy Pizza.
Hey, did you guys see?
Well, that's what we were.
Did you guys see in
Go
China?
ahead. Sorry.
Did you guys see that in China they have redone the ending of the Fight Club movie?
Yeah, China's going through a remasculinity of dudes. They're trying to reimagine what masculinity is because they basically are saying their guys are too feminine.
Yeah, man.
Well, they're not wrong.
You can't invade if your boys are too feminine.
Okay, so let me share this with you. In a seemingly edited version of the movie on the Chinese streaming platform, the scene of the...
what was the platform name again?
Yada.
Okay.
Do you guys remember when all the buildings are crashing at the end of the movie, right?
Yes.
All the buildings falling. So the scene of the buildings falling apart is replaced by a black screen with white English writing that reads, "The police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding."
That's because they had happy pizza.
That's how it ends in China now.
Uh,
Isn't that crazy?
You know, you never know. Maybe it's a better ending than what we deserve.
No, man, it's just them,
Hey,
doing what they do.
Don't worry. I'm sure they'll be rewriting the Matrix and Terminator, and
that's
to
right.
basically say that yeah.
Have you not
it only
heard yet?
happened everywhere else in the world, but not in our country.
Have you not heard yet? We got a new Matrix movie out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Is this it right here?
I've heard it's pretty gruesome.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
Is this the alternate ending to Chinese Fight Club?
What we got here? Chinese Fight Club? Hello, Chinese Fight Club.
I want you to really listen.
Scott's an asshole.
I wonder if this is
Hello,
actually
City Walk.
the ending.
My eyes are open.
Don't do it, Edmund.
Oh.
Whoa.
God, that just hurts.
Who's your bitch?
Me?
It's pretty graphic. It's blood.
Film still holds
Right,
up to
film's
this day.
still holding. There it is.
Yeah.
JT can see that too now,
That's
right?
fucking off.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
fucking awful,
Christ.
man.
Yeah.
Stupid American shot himself in the face, but
I mean,
cops
fuck.
prevailed.
That movie's only like 20 years old. Like,
Bok choy for everyone.
why did it take him so long to ruin the ending?
Yeah.
Well, we technically
But
ruined the ending.
it's just and again, I don't want to plunge us into the whole world of kind of current culture and the wokeness and the PC-ness, but
Right.
it's kind of like when everybody like lashed out about the Great Wall. So you remember that movie with Matt Damon?
Oh, I
and
do remember
They're like,
that.
oh, they've got European. Why have they got these white guys in this movie? And then
Yes.
it's like made by a Chinese company, sponsored by the Chinese government. So if you would think anyone would have a problem with it, it would
Right.
be the Chinese. It's like, come on, guys, just dial it back a bit.
You ever heard of selling a ticket? I'm going to put Matt Damon in something.
Oh, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. I love Matt Damon.
Hi,
Yep,
Matt
I'm a member of FAG.
You ruined Pearl Harbor, Matt Damon. Don't
Oh.
want to close.
Now give me that gun.
my
Now give me
eyes.
that gun. A scene to act out.
I don't
Yeah,
wanna
no shit,
fall
right?
asleep 'cause I miss you, Matt Damon. Matt Damon, I love you. You
Has Omicron met Matt Damon?
Omicron has got the hots.
Here's the hots for Matt Damon. I'm going to.
Omicron's getting deep
Spray it
inside
on.
just about everyone now, so I
That's right,
wouldn't be
JT.
surprised if it's met Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
It's met me, man.
It's met me too, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey,
Got
JT,
me.
off the mic, we were
Matt
talking.
Damon.
We were also talking about the volcanic field that is basically underneath of most of metro area in Auckland.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of eruptions, like small earthquakes, or like is there lava just rolling down the street sometimes?
No, it's not Hawaii, man. It's everything here is pretty much inactive. In fact, off the top of my head, aside from Rangitoto, which is an island that's appeared in the harbor in like since humans have been here.
Yeah.
I believe pretty much everything is dormant. Like
I see.
But
Got it.
again, it's always dormant until it explodes, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it is like heavily monitored. And this is the crazy bit. Like you would think with all of these volcanic cones around, we would be really prone to earthquakes and that, but we're actually one of the most what they call a green zone for earthquakes in the whole country. Like
okay.
we get
Really?
very few here, and usually when we do, they're more like when you look at North Island of New Zealand, it's like you got the big, if you think of it kind of like a pot or a frying pan, you've got a big panhandle and then it comes down wide down the middle.
Yeah.
And in that central part of North Island, that's where we get a lot more earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. But here in where we are, which is basically pretty far north,
Sure.
it's not too bad. And like we were talking about off air earlier, Maddie, if we have a decent eruption, it's like duck and cover, from the 60s. Don't worry, get under your desk. That will
Sure.
protect you from the
Right.
hundreds of tons of volcanic ash and stones.
duck and
So-
cover.
There's not much you're gonna do, brother. You just get out the good bourbon. Yeah,
So there's actually like volcanic ash in the
just
air.
get out the good bourbon and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's volcanic ash in the air when something like that happens.
It's very localized. So
Okay.
if you look at that map, and if you look, I can't see it perfectly, but if you look, it looks like if you see where that lake is, kind of in the middle of the North Island, south of Hamilton.
Okay.
That I think is Lake Taupo, and down there in that area, we've had a few volcanoes that have like spewed up a good amount of ash, and then also over there off the east coast, just north of Tauranga, in that Bay of Plenty area, where that Whakatane, there's an island offshore there that erupted a few years ago, and like actually there were tourists on the island when it happened, and like quite a few people died, and
Wow.
and when I say quite a few, I mean like more than 5. It wasn't thousands or because it was like a tourist boat.
Sure.
But yeah, down there, Lake Taupo, in that area, a lot of volcanic activity. But it's very localized. We don't end up with ash up here
Sure.
in Auckland.
Well, you guys have like obviously
Probably the most crazy thing since I've been here was when they had those fires in Australia, and we got the ash blow all the way across
I
here,
remember that.
Oh,
which
shit.
is like a 5-hour plus plane
Oh,
flight, and we had ash
yeah.
from Australia from the fires. That's how bad that was.
How did that end though? Did it just kind of go out?
I think it eventually
Australia?
burnt out, didn't
Well,
it?
do you guys remember there was some big wildfires going on the West
Yeah.
Coast
In
and
California, and
we
we got
We
covered
got
here.
the ash, all the way
Yeah.
over here in Missouri. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, but how did that all go
Wow,
down?
okay.
As far as like, JT, do you know how all those Australian fires went out?
It was a combination of, the firefighters trying to do their best, but also kind of the change in seasonal conditions. So they
Yeah.
started getting a bit of rain,
Yeah.
and they were really fortunate that they got rain in some of the places they needed it.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, with something that big, it's just like in the U.S. At the end of the day, the only one who's going to sort it out is,
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature.
Right.
So
Right.
you're not going to stop that stuff. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that a piece of a SpaceX rocket is going to collide with the moon soon?
Yes, I saw that. And actually, Dave, good thing you said that. I have some audio on that right now.
Dude, look at that. We are so synced, man.
Look at that.
We are
These
so
stunning
synced.
First images in 1965 of the moon's surface showed us its majestic terrain, cratered from centuries of impacts. But this morning, a giant new collision is just weeks away. And liftoff. A piece of this SpaceX rocket, launched in 2015, is now on a crash course with the moon.
God, I hate his
4
voice.
tons of metal traveling at 5,000 miles per hour. The moon's gravitational
4 tons of
pull
metal.
sucking it in. Impact calculated for March 4th.
So what the hell's going to happen on March 4th? Like, is a piece of the moon going to like just?
Are they going to explode
Break
the
off?
moon?
I don't think they know exactly 100% where it's going to crash into, but I think that they're confident that they are able to get within a few kilometers.
Yeah.
Let's see
So-
what else they said about this.
Yeah.
Amateur astronomer Bill Gray first discovered
Amateur astronomer.
He
What the
looks like
fuck?
a Bill Gray.
So they're gonna put the amateur on this, right? Not the not the fucking expert, but let's put the amateur fucking astronomer on it.
Even the experts were amateurs at one
Well,
time.
you know what? Maybe
The
this guy
experts.
this guy does it on his
Right.
own because he has like
Cut Bill some
unfinished.
slack,
he has
man.
like unfinished like.
Look at him. He's got that smug sweater on. He's ready to go.
Like he just sanded his walls right in back of him.
I'm fucking your wife tonight, buddy.
Yeah, he's
And I'm discovering new planets.
he's discovering those titties.
I'm gonna observe. I'm gonna observe your wife's anus tonight.
He has a bit of that Enrique in him. Look at him.
We're gonna explore.
Check out her wormhole.
Right. We're gonna
out my
explore.
wormhole.
You want to sass me some more?
Anyway, let's go back to the story real quick. 'Cause
All
we're
right. Sorry
going
about
that way.
Sorry about that, folks.
Okay.
its crash course. It'll be the first accidental crash ever of a
Dumbass.
man-made object.
This is the first time
There he
that
is.
something has unintentionally hit the moon.
I'll be fucking you tonight.
He slays, man.
Oh,
The
God.
expected crash will make a new crater, but
He looks like a
won't
poor
damage
man's
the
Bob Lazar.
A little bit.
A little
Yes.
moon. Astronomers say this leftover rocket is part of a growing
Oh, look
man-made
at that.
problem of space junk.
bit. Dude, that's terrible.
Look at all that space
Yeah.
junk, dude.
Look at that.
Look at all
Yeah.
of it.
Isn't it by some year we're predicted to not be able to like get out into outer space because there'll be so much shit on the.
It's
Yeah, I
a
know
traffic of.
Yeah.
It's just all a bunch of traffic of junk.
How do you get it out of there, though? Right?
Big damn net.
Images show pieces of
Look at
junk in the
that.
tens of
Magnets.
thousands
Right,
orbiting
right.
the Earth.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
You think space is infinite, and then we have all this garbage.
That's the usual mistake. The same mistake we made.
Wasn't he in Independence Day? Got his brain sucked out by the fucking.
Yeah.
That's
Alien
right.
shit.
Yeah.
Same
Data
dude.
played him.
Same dude.
with the ocean, right? Oh, it's huge. We can toss as
He's
much
like
as we
50 and he
in there
can't
it
grow
won't
a
be an
beard.
issue.
Right.
Well, yes and no.
Last
He
year,
does touch kids though. Ouch. Okay, that
Only out the door. It's not savage. Not savage here.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
the International Space Station was put in harm's way after Russia blew up one of its satellites.
Yeah.
Hundreds of
Jesus.
thousands of pieces of shrapnel,
Wow, look
like
at that.
bullets that could potentially pierce the ISS.
Oh,
Dude, they knew
shit.
what they were
Dangerous.
doing.
It was reckless.
Hey,
It was
everybody.
irresponsible.
As for the moon, astronomers
Damn, I didn't
expect
know
the
about
impact to
that.
produce a massive
Really?
flash of light and dirt cloud,
Oh,
similar
okay.
to this NASA animation. But don't expect to see it from Earth. The impact predicted to strike on the dark
Oh,
side.
bullshit.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, China's on the backside, so
They
fuck
are on
them.
the backside. It's kind of cooler when you call it the backside of the moon.
So while we won't be able to see it with
Boy,
our
it's a lot
telescopes,
sexier.
It is.
Yeah.
it is
Makes
possible
me wanna
that
get
there
all
will
up
be
in that moon.
later some satellite images of this impact. But clearly, this space junk problem points out what is a growing problem, and that is the amount of debris that's floating out there. The U.S. Space Force is responsible
Yeah,
for tracking
Space
the
Force.
low Earth
Space
orbit
Force.
debris, but there's nobody out there enforcing, Craig, what we do.
I can't hear the
and
audio,
who's
but he
dumping-
seems inordinately excited about whatever he's talking about, man. It's like
Space
he's
Force.
actually really concerning. I think he.
Look at
Okay, yeah, he's got a Space Force fetish, obviously, because
Yeah.
he's getting really excited talking about
Well,
it.
just look at him, man.
But you know what? No one really talks about space junk, and it's never in the news. It's not a problem that we ever talk about. We talk
No.
about the oceans, and we talk about like how we can clean up our rural areas and stuff like that, but we never talk about space and how much debris is out
That's
there.
because nobody's really looking up right now. Not
Yeah.
yet. You give it another 20, 30 years, man, we'll be looking up and we'll be looking to get off the planet.
But
Yeah.
eventually, that stuff's going to fall back to Earth and it's going to crash into your garage.
Yes and no. A lot of it, I think, would burn up.
Yeah, I think most of it would burn up,
Yeah,
but
or it ends up in the 70% of the ocean.
Right?
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
along with everything else.
That's some fucking crazy shit that no one talks about. That
No one
stuff.
talks about that. No, not at all.
I do, boys.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know. That's why.
I
That's why we
do.
started talking to you, Dave. Actually.
That's why I'm here, boys.
So, has there been any new UAP, UFO type information that has been disclosed as of late, boys? We got two of our biggest UFO guys on. Has there been anything new that's come out lately?
I'll let you go first, JT.
Like I say, man, look, number one, I've been a bit out of touch, and the reality is when something big breaks, if I miss it, usually that man right there, young Squire Jordan, tends to tip me
Yes.
off, and I've got a few other pretty loyal listeners that also will tip me off. But the last one that I covered, so Scotty, to show you how scared I am about three-letter agencies, I had an episode called Christmas with the CIA, okay, where
All
I
right.
read CIA files, right? So it's like, look, I know, I have no doubt someone has at least checked on the show because CIA files, everything else, you would expect that someone's at least going to go, what is this idiot talking about?
Right.
So I have fun with it, and that's why it was Christmas with JT and the CIA, right? It's like, no, this isn't live from Guantanamo or from Langley, but
Yeah.
it is, we're going to have fun. But I think it was either on that show or maybe the one before, but there was that article, Dave, I think I sent it to you, but I can't remember, but it was from Vice. And it was, to me, it was actually staggering because it's a prominent scientist. And again, I can't think of who it is,
I'll
but
pull it
he's
up.
somewhere, he's at Stanford or something. And he's just talking about, like, very matter-of-factly, yes, I've been looking at purported UFO crash material. I've been given it. We found really strange. And it's just like a
Yes.
matter-of-factly written article.
I
There's
saw
no, well, we think it could. Yeah, it was just really, and it blew my mind. But the reality is, again, and again, I'm always really glass half empty on this stuff. And the reason I say that is, again, the timing of the article. The article came out right around Christmas when everybody's minds are on other stuff, right? So it's like, how many people actually read that? But there's not a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll read an article on something like this and I'll just, literally go, wow, this is really a game changer. But I did in that case, because again, it wasn't Mr. X at, Johnson State University. It was, he named himself, he named the program, he named the people who had given him the material, he named the kind of isotope differences and all that. It was all it was written no differently, Scotty, than if they found that what's that missing plane, flight 371 or whatever, the Malaysian it was
flight
written
371.
like if someone had found a piece of that wreckage. It was just matter of factly. And that's probably the last thing I read that was really like, to me, it was like, wow. And I've had a few kind of sightings that I've been past, but it's more like someone from Texas will say, I'm from Texas and this sighting's happened in Texas. It's not like it's a massive sighting necessarily. It's just, I want you to know there's been a sighting near me. But Dave, you are probably better equipped to answer this than me, to be honest. Has there been anything kind of new and breaking that I don't know about?
Nothing big, nothing huge. But it was Dr. Gary Nolan is the name of the guy in the article that you sent me.
That's him, yep.
And so he's been studying not only anomalous material, but he's been studying the brains of people who have been in close contact with these craft.
That's the one, yep.
And so here's what he says. If you've ever looked at an MRI of somebody with multiple sclerosis, there's something called white matter disease. It's scarring. It's a big white blob or multiple white blobs scattered throughout the MRI. It's essentially dead tissue where the immune system has attacked the brain. That's probably the closest thing you could come to if you wanted to look at a snapshot from one of these individuals. You can pretty quickly see that there's something wrong. So, and he looked at around 100 people that had come in close contact.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's some kind of experiment going on.
Brain, it's some kind of brain. I don't know if you...
Well, and the other...
Go ahead, JT.
The other fascinating bit about that as well, because you've just piqued my memory now, was he tied in the Skinwalker Ranch thing. And he tied all of this in with that Havana syndrome, basically saying it's a very similar profile to what's been happening with that, purported Havana syndrome, where they're saying that diplomats overseas are being attacked by some kind of like RF radiation.
Yes.
And it's like it's a targeted weapon. Yeah. And because there's a podcast that I've followed for a long time, and I joined their group, and like a lot of these groups, there's a lot of people there, but there's not a lot of people saying anything interesting. And there was a lady saying that she kind of was wondering if there was any tie-in between the Havana syndrome and Skinwalker Ranch. And I said, well, actually, yeah, I covered this article for my show. And then I mentioned it and I posted up the article. And yeah, the thing to me is, it's like, hey, thanks for going out of your way and getting that article and telling me about it. It was just like, okay, here it is, and then silence. So I was like, okay, I think I'm about done with that group. It's like, at least give me the thumbs up for fishing out this article for you. I didn't plug my show. I didn't name my show because I think it's disrespectful. It's one thing if we have an agreement, like if one of you guys was in the Paranormal Sun chat room, you're always welcome to talk about the show. But it's like if I just think it's a bit, especially in the same stream, because we're covering the same topics, me and this other show. But yeah, I was just like, okay, well, I think I'm done. I might read comments in here, but I don't think I'll be actively trying to help you people.
So here's another quote from the article from Dr. Gary Nolan talking about these people. You have a smorgasbord of patients, some of whom had heard weird noises buzzing in their head, got sick, etc.
This is the Havana syndrome?
A reasonable subset of them had claimed to have seen UAPs or UFOs, and some claim to be close to things that got them sick. And then he shares the MRIs, and it's interesting. Something's going on.
Right. I'd heard there was talk of like a microwave, maybe like a microwave weapon that they were shooting at them.
Right. That's one of the theories.
Kind of like frying their insides, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the theories, man. It's crazy.
And Scotty, I don't know if you watched. I think it's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It's the series.
I've been picking that up lately.
When I started watching it, I was when I started watching it, I was a bit leery, and the reason I say that is we all know a lot of those kind of Discovery / History Channel series.
Oh yeah.
They'll end up like, here's an hour-long episode, and 40 minutes of that hour-long episode, we're going to rehash stuff that's happened earlier in the season, and it gets really tiring really quickly. But I was really impressed with the way that they did that series, and that was one of the things they measured that radiation from that hill that's just behind the ranch, and they basically correlated it to a spot in the air like 300 or 400 feet above the hill. It's like either it's coming from there and you can't see what it is, or it's ending there, and either way it's like, what the hell, like it's just coming out of this mountain, and it was way above background and way above a natural explanation. Meaning, you know, like we all know there's some stones that are radioactive and that you can run a Geiger counter against, but there was nothing that explained what was going on. And that would, like you're saying, Scotty, there's that guy on the ranch, I can't think of his name, but he ended up getting like that. He got like swelling in his head.
Yes.
And that's basically what the doctor said, was that it looked like he'd been exposed to something like this. And I think when I read that article, Dave, I actually was commenting like, okay, if this is coming from a foreign nation, right? So subterfuge, it'd
have to be Cuba.
Cloak and dagger spy stuff.
Right.
Yeah, well, if it's Cuba, what the hell is Cuba doing out in the middle of Utah? You know, there's some hidden base that I don't know about where the NSA is hanging out there on Skinwalker Ranch, because it's like, if this is like a mundane explanation that it's technology a foreign country's using, it's like, what would they be doing out there, man? They might as well be hanging out in Gem City and hanging out at Last Flight and, you know, firing their old, you know, super weapon, whatever it is, and enjoying a nice beer while they're sitting there, instead of doing it out in the middle of the freaking.
Yeah, they're saying
makes no sense to me.
Skinwalker Ranch is also known as UFO Alley.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The thing about Skinwalker that's unique is the fact that there's a ton of UFO activity there, but it's more than just UFOs, man. It's paranormal stuff.
Yeah, they're saying crop circles, cattle,
dead cattle, cattle mutilations.
Yeah, mutilation.
Yeah.
Poltergeists,
shapeshifter creatures.
There are reports of beings that look like they're ripping through the fabric of the universe, and they come crawling out of these holes.
What
you know,
in the hell?
Really?
Yeah.
What's going on in Utah, man?
Some weird, crazy shit, and it's been going on. Like the Native Americans knew of this land long before we did.
It says right here, shapeshifter creatures,
skinwalkers,
impervious to bullets, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do about those
out of all of those stories from not the original owner, but the owner that kind of started documenting the kind of modern weird stuff. So
wasn't that the family?
I can't remember their real names, but it's the Gormans, but there's another name. Like there was a pseudonym name they used, and then there's their real name.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which. I'll just go with the Gormans. But the one that really freaked me out was the guy. He got so tired of these like orbs and that kind of buzzing him and his family, and seeing kind of weird shit like literally just out of your field, that he sicked his dogs on these. He sicked his dogs off on these orbs, and they ran off into the darkness, and he heard, a few minutes later, like the dogs like yelping and that. And when he was too scared to go and look at night, he goes and looks the next day, and there's just like these black puddles of ooze on the ground with the dog collars in the ooze. So like literally whatever it was just like liquefied the dogs. Yeah, and that right there, man, I'll tell you what, at that point, I'd be like, I don't care how much these effing cattle are worth.
Right.
I'm out. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Peace out,
I'm
cow.
done.
So this is in northeastern Utah.
And another
512 acre parse that way.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's 512 acres.
Yeah, that whole area is known as the Uinta Basin, and they've had all kinds, like there's stories going back to the local Ute, and I think it's the Navajo and the Apache in the area. Basically, the story was that I think it was the Navajo, and I might have that wrong, but the Navajo were fighting with the Ute, like having like turf wars, basically.
Yeah.
And the Ute basically cursed the land, or vice versa, and basically turned the Skinwalkers loose.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like from that time on, that's what they say, is that area is basically like, you don't want to be there. If you don't have a reason to be there, don't be there.
Well, there's another one
yeah,
now
some of the
too,
stuff
right?
that happened on that ranch.
There's another ranch now too that's becoming famous.
Yeah, it's that something Frog Ranch, isn't it?
Yes,
Is
like
that the
Frog
one?
Hollow Ranch or something.
Yeah.
And the same
Yeah.
things are happening
So
on
that-
this ranch too.
Where's that one at?
Give me a
Well,
minute.
Hold on, I got it.
well, that's in Utah as well, I believe. That story ties into something that is one of my personal, like, one of the things I really enjoy, and I know you do too, Scotty,
Yeah.
which is kind of lost or ancient, the kind of history different than we've been told. And the
Blind
story about
Frog
that
Ranch.
one in Utah, that's the one. The story that I heard years ago before any of the TV show or anything came out is it's basically they believe that when the Spaniards finally conquered, I think it's called Tiwanaku. I'm not even going to try. Tenochtitlan. That's no, Tenochtitlan, I think it is. That was
the World
Mexico
Serpent.
City.
Yeah.
And basically when Cortez was going in to like finish them off, that Montezuma moved a bunch of his treasure out. And one of the rumors was that it ended up in the southwestern U.S. and that's the story, is that's what's there buried in Kanab, Utah.
Oh, no kidding.
Is this treasure. And yeah, and it's supposed to be like billions of dollars. It's like it's not, oh, I found a chest with a few coins. It's like it's supposedly like billions of dollars of gold and gemstones and everything else. And yeah, because when I started, I saw that show and I watched a little bit. I'm like, this sounds awfully familiar. And then when I started looking into it, I'm like, okay, this is in Kanab, Utah. That's why. And there was a guy in the 20s, when it was still cowboy days there, and he literally went and he said he knew that there was treasure buried there, and he basically conned the whole town into digging up this hillside because he was sure that the treasure was there, and they never found anything. Apparently they found some skeletons, and that was about it. And the people kept digging for like three or 4 or 5 months, and they never found the treasure. And he did them good, because apparently he conned them in. He said, "Oh, you all get a share," and they didn't find anything but fucking rock and sand. Yeah.
So
but interesting story.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, apparently Discovery had a show on it.
Yeah.
January 7th, Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch.
Ranch.
Yeah, there it is. That's pretty interesting. And Skinwalker Ranch. I almost said Skywalker Ranch.
I know, right? You want to.
Skinwalker Ranch, like I never really looked into it until now. So I find it like really.
I was
really
going to say you should
really
watch
enticing.
you should watch the is it a Discovery Channel or History Channel? There's a show.
There's
the
a show
mystery
about
at
it.
Skinwalker
Really?
Ranch.
But there's also the movie that is really worth watching. So the guy
There's a
that
movie?
the guy that did the movie is Jeremy Corbell. He's the same guy that did the Bob Lazar movie.
Oh, okay.
What other movie? There was another movie that Corbell did. JT, do you remember?
It was either like Out of the Blue or I Know What I Saw, one of those. Would that be it? Or was it Phenomenon?
No, the Phenomenon. No, it wasn't Phenomenon. But anyway, yeah, Corbell. He's got a movie, and I think Corbell's movie is, I believe it's called The Hunt for the Skinwalker. Maddie, I'm pretty sure it's at least.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Video, or you guys know about Tubi?
Yeah, but I never use it.
Tubi.
TUBI.
I have it, but I never use it. But Tubi has like a bunch of really good documentaries on this topic.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to watch that though, Maddie. The Hunt for the Skinwalker.
Yeah. all that
JT, going
Skinwalker
back,
stuff.
you were talking about you're actually one of your episodes are going to be about Betty and Barney Hill. Tell us more about that.
Well, to me, growing up, when I was a little shaver back when the world was black and white, and you got cigarettes on your hamburger, whether you wanted them or not, and everybody ran around eating handfuls of asbestos.
Yes. Oh, God, I love
it.
it.
Way back when.
Oh, I miss asbestos.
Yeah, way back when. We grew up in the middle of nowhere, and we had like You know, I'm like I say, I'm always pretty much like 99% of my life. I'm full disclosure. We grew up in the middle of nowhere. We grew up a trailer because where we were in northern Idaho, it made sense. Like it was a lot easier to heat that space than try and build a home out on a 14-acre patch of land. But we had like a permanent back porch. Like although it was a trailer, it was never going anywhere, right? So it was our home, and we had like a back porch, like a wooden back porch that had been built, and we had like this really odd library. And why I say odd is it's like I don't know where the books came from. I don't know who brought them or dropped them off, because it wasn't something that anyone in my immediate family like had a passion for. But we had all these old books, man, about UFOs and mysteries and that, like going back to the 50s and 60s. And some of those books now are either like you can't find them or they're like thousands of dollars on eBay. So it's really cool that from a young age I had these. And I remember reading about things like the Hopkinsville goblins in Kentucky, Betty and Barney Hill, Lonnie Zamora, etc. And then as I got a little bit older, you start getting a bit of this on TV. And then like they had Unsolved Mysteries. And I also remember watching the TV movie that had James Earl Jones in it playing Barney Hill. Basically their story, the book that was written, I'm trying to think of the author. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was called Interrupted Journey. So basically the whole story about these Betty and Barney Hill are that they were an interracial couple at a time when that wasn't very common in the US. 1961. Yeah. So Barney was a postman, and Betty was like a social worker. I can't remember her exact title, but I think she like worked with, underprivileged kids and that. And they decided kind of on a whim, Barney went to work one night and said, you know what, let's go on a bit of a road trip, because they didn't have a lot of money, but he figured, well, we'll take the car, we'll pack the lunchbox and that, and we'll go for like 3 days. We'll drive up to the Canadian border. This was in New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire.
We'll drive up to the Canadian border, go up, see Niagara Falls. Yeah. Go up, see Niagara Falls, do the tourist thing. That's it. Yeah, put you in the barrel, throw you up. That was another life. Go up to see Niagara Falls because Betty hadn't been there, and then come home. Well, when they were on their way back, they started seeing odd light in the sky, and Barney was convinced, because Barney was very much the skeptic at that time. He was like, there's an explanation for this. It's a star, it's a plane. And he was literally driving and explaining it like out loud to Betty. He's going, oh, it's this, it's that, And the further they got, it kept getting kind of brighter, and they saw it in various like different places. And then they got to a point where he parked the car like literally in the middle of the highway, went out in a field and was looking up at this thing that was a few hundred feet away. And then the next thing they remembered was they were driving down the road like 40 miles away. And they just woke up like in the car, him driving and her sitting there. And they just like came to, and it's like, okay, what the hell went on here? So they got home, and they got home, and again, it's 1961. You don't talk about this shit, right? You don't talk about seeing weird things. So Barney just was like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want anyone to know about this. But Betty's sister, and again, this is something that I've only learned researching the show. Betty's sister had a sighting 4 or 5 years earlier, not in the same. I think hers was in Rhode Island, but she'd had seen a UFO. So Betty rang her and said, hey, look, me and Barney have seen some strange lights. We think it could have been a UFO. And again, being 1961, it was so funny because Betty's sister's like, oh, the guy down the street's like a meteorologist. I'll go and talk to him. So she goes down the street and gets him, and he comes back and starts talking to Betty on the phone, starts asking her questions. And basically he said, okay, if I were you, I'd ring the Air Force Base and see if there were any planes in the area, because there's nothing that I know of that in the sky on that night that should have been causing this, that would explain what you saw. So she rang the Air Force Base, and the Air Force Base actually made a Blue Book file and said that they'd look at sending someone out. And a few months later, Betty wrote a letter to Donald Kehoe, who's like a super famous UFO investigator.
Yeah, I've
and
heard his
at
name
the time,
before.
he was advising. Yeah. Strange name, easy to remember, hard to spell. Because I think it's like Kehoe, something like that. And you'd think it's key like a car key.
Hmm.
So she wrote this letter off to NICAP and basically said, hey, we saw this. We'd like to know more. And Kehoe, there was a guy in the area, I think his name was Ken, but his last name was Webb. And he basically said, hey, why don't you go down and talk to these people and see? And Ken Webb was really skeptical going into this. He's like, because like we've talked about, and I've said so often that I think that 97 to 99% of UFOs can be explained fairly mundanely. So he had the same idea. He's like, yeah, this is going to be a piece of cake. I'll go down there. I'll meet these people and I'll take their report, but I don't expect anything of it. And he said he thought he'd talk to them for a half an hour, and he sat there for 8 hours.
Wow.
And Betty cooked dinner and everything else. That's how
crazy.
engrossed he was in their story.
He was like super intrigued.
And again, like I say, yeah, and this is a guy who's looked at hundreds of cases, Matt. Like you say, it's not just like Joe Blow who's never heard of UFOs.
Yeah, Betty and Barney Hill were both
he
very
gathered all the
credible
details. Yeah, as much as some people have tried to slander them in retrospect, Dave, you're right. I feel they are, and Betty said that there were these weird circle type shapes on the trunk of the car, and she wasn't sure what caused them. So they went and checked those out, but there are no photos of it.
Yeah.
But apparently Ken Webb saw these, and he said, yeah, that's really strange. And then they kind of went away, and their suggestion, Ken Webb's suggestion, and also Betty and Barney Hill had a pretty close family friend who was an ex-Air Force officer named McDonald. I think he was a lieutenant. And he told them, but between him and Webb, they said, have you ever thought of getting like regression? Like having hypnosis? And Barney, again, through all of this, Barney's like, nope, didn't happen. Nope, don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Not interested. But they had been having these weird dreams, and Betty was having weird dreams. Barney was having weird dreams. Then they spent like weeks. Every weekend they'd drive up in the hills trying to find the spot where they were when they saw this UFO. Because again, remembering, folks, there's no such thing as GPS. They're just driving from memory.
Right.
And they just kept going back. And every time they'd go back, they'd kind of almost have what we would now call a PTSD, like post-traumatic stress reaction of starting to like getting flashbacks, Yeah, exactly. And they're both gone now, but man, just to have the nuts to go back, because I'll tell you what, I would struggle. I mean, I would
that
really
would be a
struggle
tough one, man.
if that was my visceral
me
reaction.
too. Absolutely.
Fuck yes.
So Barney lived until he was 46, and then Betty died when she was 85.
Yeah.
Betty's
Betty has what do you got over there, man?
So I have some audio from Betty. She's a little older in this video, but it's some of her. She talks about her UFO abduction. So here's Betty.
1961. Bonnie and I'm driving home from Montreal. Saw a strange light in the sky, which changed direction, came in, started following us. In an area known as Indian Head, it came out over the highway, stopped in midair.
Oh, man.
And Bonnie got out with the binoculars in an attempt to identify this craft. The old-fashioned straw hats that men used to wear, the flat crown and the brim, that's what it was shaped like. And then along one side, it had a big, big picture window.
Huh.
And it had dividers in it.
Huh.
And as he's looking up at it, and he could see people standing in the windows looking down at him, and the craft began to descend, and he had the feeling they were trying to kidnap him. He ran back to the car. We went speeding down the highway to avoid capture, and then later they were standing in the middle of the road blocking our way. This is what we saw when the car motor stalled out.
I see.
And they're separating and coming up towards us.
This is your view then of the UFO people from out your car window?
Right.
Shut the fuck I count. Up.
This is our first view.
There's about a half dozen there.
Actually, there were 11.
Talk to me about the features in here and what you remember.
Bananas,
I mean,
isn't it?
This one's face in particular. Tell
My
me.
mind is fucking blown
The fact
right
that
now.
she even remembers all of that and all of that was tossed together like that's impressive.
And this was fucking 60
and
years
that,
ago.
Yeah, and she's still just as clear. Like that's what happened, man.
I mean, honestly, well, this is 20 years ago, but honestly, it was like 40 years ago for her.
Yeah, 20 years ago for us now.
Yeah.
40 for her.
Yeah.
Tell me what we see
I mean,
there.
you can see they're very human appearing.
Yeah.
Only here, you know, the eyes are wider spaced than
weird.
ours.
Okay.
See?
Right.
The nose is smaller and a thin slit for a mouth. No hair, no protruding part of the ear. We were taken on board, and we were told to relax, no harm was going to come to us, and we did. And they did some testing of both Barney and me, and showed me the star map of where they were from. There it is.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
This is
the
a
star
map you drew.
Yep.
This is a map?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here,
and
dude.
dude, that
Star map.
That map holds up to scientific scrutiny.
Now, what? This is amazing because.
Wow.
How much did you know about astronomy?
Not a thing. About 6 weeks later, Bonnie and I had gone out in the evening, and when we came home, on the kitchen table was a pile of dried leaves, which wasn't there when we left. And when I went to clean up the pile of dried leaves, there was my blue earrings I was wearing that night. See, the experience itself happened in 1961. But it was not known until a Boston newspaper reporter found out about it. And it ran for 5 days on the front pages of the Boston newspaper. I went on TV. I was questioned by F. Lee Bailey. And then I sat down and had lie detector testing in front of the whole country.
Oh, my God.
And I had very, very high ratings for honesty and truthfulness.
Whether you... Like, why would she even lie about this?
Oh, man.
Right. Nobody.
How could you keep a straight face and have the same story if you're lying for her anyway, 40 years?
She's sharp, man. She's just a sharp chick.
This is, I've never heard this
her
before.
story's
but-
not changed, if I remember right. Her story never changed.
No,
Right,
not
yeah,
at
she's
all.
as sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Very credible, man. They were both very credible people.
What really flipped me out was, like, their car stopped, which they probably, whatever it was, stopped them.
Yeah.
And then they get out and they're walking down the road.
Well,
That's fucking crazy.
That's what you did, though, back then.
No, I'm talking about, like, the aliens.
Oh,
They're, like,
yeah.
walking around and shit. That's fucking nuts, dude.
Very.
So I couldn't hear the audio, but
I'm sorry, man.
The things about Betty and Barney Hill. No, it's okay. I'm again. You're talking to JT, so I've got a pretty good idea of what she was talking about.
He knows how the movie
Yeah,
ends.
he knows.
But the reality is, yeah, as I say all the time on the show, right? I got plenty of room in my life for skeptics because a skeptic looks at something with a eye to
Right.
say, hey, what are the odds? Occam's razor, everything else. It's the debunkers I have a problem with. And again, with Betty and Barney Hill, the vitriol that those two put up with, right? First and foremost, let's remember two things. Barney didn't want anyone to know about it, like full stop. Like he didn't want anyone to know about what was going on because he was sure with them being an interracial couple, they'd just be
Yeah.
held up to derision with, and he was right. Okay. Secondly, people say, oh, well, there was a book and there was a movie, but they made F all off of it. You can see how she's living. She's not living in a McMansion. Okay.
Right.
And some of the explanations I've heard over the years are freaking ridiculous. Like, oh, it was a satellite. Well, guess what? I went and looked that up and there were no like communication satellites or anything. I think there were less than 10 satellites full stop.
I was going to say, we didn't even
outer
have
space
them.
at
Right.
the time of
Yeah.
their sighting. Yeah. There were like 10, right? And they were like Sputnik and Vanguard and a few, but there were hardly any. And then secondly, like, again, oh, she saw the full moon. And again, a very, very quick explanation of it. You look into it, you find out that the full moon wasn't visible. There was a full moon that night, but it wasn't visible because you know how the moon shifts 45 minutes every day?
Right.
And sometimes it'll be a full moon in the day. So
Right.
it wasn't visible during the time of their sightings. And again, so many of these things, as I've found with hundreds of UFO cases, it's like they just keep throwing shit at it, and they're just like, we'll just bombard you with explanations. And if something doesn't stick still, I mean, to this day, there are people that will hear Betty and Barney Hill and they'll go, oh, yeah, she saw the moon, because that's all they really remember was like an article or a official saying they saw the moon. And so at the end of the day, man, that kind of stuff, they get what they want, because they get us all to think that there's a very easy explanation. Hillbilly moonshine, now that'll be the next thing. It'll be every UFO case is because of legalized cannabis. I'll be shocked if that isn't the new explanation.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that's not used.
Discredit.
But you know what? It's so strange nowadays, though, with the government just flat out going, you know what? Yeah, that's real. That's not us. We can't prove that. That's just odd to me nowadays.
Yeah,
but it does make sense if you think about it.
But again, Scotty, look, I'm the pessimist because I've been interested in this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I think the government is telling you that, especially in the US, is all the more reason to add more money to that defense budget.
Right.
Because it could be those Chinese and they could have a quantum computer controlled drone, and it could be them pesky Russians.
Yep.
So I think that's why they stop short of saying they don't say this. Now, individual people like Fravor, right, the pilot, he'll say, I don't think that this was a technology from this earth. But I don't think we'll get a government coming out and saying, like, meaning the US government or the UK government or, one of the major countries. I just don't see one of them coming out and saying, we can't explain this and we don't believe it's like from current human civilization, for lack of a better term.
Right.
Just don't see it, because they always want to play the boogeyman bullshit.
Right.
I mean, look at the missile gap. So I don't know if you guys remember for sure, but in the late 50s, but I think it was the early to mid 60s, when the ICBM started being built, so you didn't need bombers anymore to end the world. And they came out and they said, oh, there's a missile gap. The Russians they've got so many more missiles than us. Guys, it's been proven in hindsight, absolute fabrication. Basically what happened was there was an ex-Nazi named Reinhard Gehlen, who ran the intelligence network of Eastern Europe and Russia. Basically, all the information the CIA got came to them from an ex-Nazi, and there were ex-Nazis in Russia telling the Russians the same thing, because all these guys are working in the defense industry for Russia or for the US or the UK.
Right.
So they've got a vested interest in making lots of money. So they were telling the US, you're behind. They were telling the Russians, you're behind. And again, before satellites, you couldn't tell for sure how many missiles the Russians had,
Right.
You could take a photo with 10 missiles and say, hey, this is one site in one city. And if you extrapolate that, they've got like 3,000 missiles when the Russians had like 50 missiles,
Yeah, we're
not like, we got to build more missiles,
We're not.
That's why Dr. Strangelove, type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're not the only country that got leftover, like, brainiac Nazis.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
Like, Nazis.
The UK.
Yeah, them. I mean, NASA. NASA was created by former rocket science
Warner
Nazis.
von Braun.
Yeah.
Werner von Braun.
And
Warner. Don't worry, folks. I'm a good Nazi.
Yeah, it's okay.
And Warner.
Don't worry.
Warner had his posse of smart guys.
Oh yeah.
It just wasn't him.
That's
he had a whole.
That's what you did. You
he
brought
had a
in
whole
all your boys
fucking
too.
German crew, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Get over here!
They were headed to the moon, man. They were going to go from the moon then on to Mars.
Yes,
they
were.
had plans.
Yeah, they did. They certainly did.
Well, it's something. It's a little bit of trivia that a lot of people don't know. But when you say, "What's the first man-made object that actually left Earth's not Earth's orbit, but left the Earth, i.e., left the entire atmosphere?" And no, it wasn't Sputnik, and no, it wasn't the Vanguard. It was actually a German V-2 rocket in 1944.
There you go.
It was the first man-made object that actually left all the layers of the Earth's atmosphere. So, like you say, I mean, they knew what they were doing, right?
They were smart.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. They weren't. Yeah. That's it.
There was a reason why when the war. Yeah, you're right. There's a reason when the war fell, all these countries were like, you know what? We can't let these guys go.
Yeah,
they're too damn smart.
Somebody's gonna get him.
Oh, I mean,
I know this guy killed about 1 million Jews, but he also recorded every bit of it.
But
imagine the information that we can use off of their death.
Those dudes, though.
But he's changed
Right.
He's changed, Scott. He swears he'll never do it again.
Never.
Those
Never.
rocket science guys,
He's reformed.
They're all they're smart people, the ones who, and the engineers and the rocket science, they had nothing to do with any of that shit.
Oh, of course
They were
not.
there because they were there at their whip, like they were forced to do that shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was forced to gas those Jews.
Yeah.
I
mean,
love
there's
Jews.
certain like
it's like
I can't imagine them, not all of them rocket science people,
I
knowing
can't
about
imagine them all being
the
mean.
Holocaust going on.
Right.
No, it's
You
just
know what I
like
mean?
anywhere in the world,
But at
man.
the same time, when you like you guys have seen Band of Brothers on HBO,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
you've seen it over there in Auckland, JT. But there's a scene in it where they
Oh, of
roll
course, yeah.
they roll up to this concentration camp. Right, the Germans are all gone.
Yeah.
They liberate it,
Right.
but there's a village nearby. You can't tell me that village didn't know.
Oh, they knew.
Right.
You can't
Because you could
tell
smell
me
the
they-
burning
right.
flesh from the fucking gas
Exactly.
chambers.
The best thing that they did was march those rich fucking people
Yep.
in their furs up there and make them take care of those
Yeah,
people.
they were forced to do that
Right.
shit. Good. Fuck them.
You know, that was just a horrible time.
Boys, want to take a quick
Oh,
break?
yeah.
I think we should take a quick break.
I have to pee.
Oh.
Yes. Well, we have to take a break now, then.
Well, then
Very
we've got to do
badly.
this. let's thank JT and the Paranormal Sun,
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Biscuit Strength, and the Jeff City Paranormal
Yes.
Society for your continued Patreon patronage.
And we're going to have Biscuit next week.
That's
Yes.
right. If you would like to check us out on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/the-old-77-podcast. And for the cup of coffee, the price of a
Yes.
cup of coffee a month, you too can support local podcasts.
That's right.
And I just got a message from Biscuit. He says he's going to lift 50 pounds on each nipple tomorrow night.
All right.
Or next week. I'm sorry, next week.
It's on. I can't
Still
wait.
setting up
Biscuit.
the triage.
I
All
can't
right.
wait.
Shut up, brother.
Let's take a break, boys. We'll
Yeah.
be back right after this.
All
On
right.
the old 77.
77. Oui, oui.
In the Groove, Vinyl Records and More has the widest variety of new and used music, carrying new and reissued vinyl, used CDs and cassette tapes. In business for over 20 years, offering the best variety and service we possibly can. In the year 2000, we started out as a little hole in the wall, and now In the Groove is a full-service record shop with thousands of records to choose from. Buying rock, jazz, R&B, soul, and blues records, 33s, 45s, and 78s. We also buy CDs and cassette tapes. We've been buying and selling since 2000. In the Groove is a one-stop shop for records, stereo equipment, CDs, and other fun oddities. 708 Jefferson Street, Jefferson City, Missouri. Give us a thumbs up and follow us on Facebook. In the Groove, Vinyl Records and More.
I love this music, man. I just love it.
And welcome back
to
the old 77.
It's
a safe
place
in an unsafe world.
It is time for cool down on old 77. They have to read all the words.
You know what, guys, man? I'll tell you what.
Oh no.
77. Old 77. You want me to say they cool down, right? Well, yes.
Hold on.
The 77.
Right. Well, the old 77.
I try it again. It is time for the cool down on the old 77.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
I was looking over at Dave like, Dave, push the button.
I
Push
was
the button,
over here
Dave.
like, Dave, push the button. Well, you're not pushing the button.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, Louis Mano.
Thanks to Louis Mano.
Who started talking first?
The Velvet
did.
Boys.
Yeah.
The Velvet Boys.
Because you wanted me to touch the button.
Yeah.
This guy's like, touch the button now.
We got this. I'm sorry, JT. I had to mute you, man. You were in the middle of something. What was it?
It's that wax, dog.
Oh.
No, all I was saying was, I just said, you bastards, I'm so jealous right now. I wish I had one of those teleporters and I was just there
me
in
too,
studio
man.
with you because
someday
you're fucking having a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, I'm having fun, but it'd be more fun if I was sitting there.
Oh,
absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love having on. Having you on,
anytime,
bro.
anytime, man. Come on.
Anytime you do find that teleporter and you're able to get over here, get on over here, man.
Get your ass over here, man.
So open invite.
As you guys know, the cooldown consists of anything goes.
That's right.
Yes.
We are in the cool down now.
So anyway, I don't know if you guys heard this or not.
What, Maddie? What?
There is a creepy sex robot swap shop online where doll lovers trade used figurines.
Oh.
And what's the web address for that?
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Dave, and the web address?
Well, a website called Galmato Haven specializes in selling the pre-loved sex dolls.
Pre-loved, huh?
Pre-loved.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-loved.
It also fixes sex dolls and offers a spa day experience with your favorite robotic chick.
We all have a favorite
or
robotic chick,
man. Robotic man, too. I guess they have guys as well.
So we're none.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate.
Is
Is that like
who the fuck cleans these things? That's what I want to know.
Is it like detailing a car?
That's what I was gonna say. Their steam cleaning bill must be fucking phenomenal.
Through the roof.
Through the roof.
So I have this video. It's
oh God.
It's queued up here. It's called Meet Harmony, the sex robot. It's
Harmony.
Slut Ever. It's called Slut Ever.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this. This is a show on Vice, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Slut Ever.
Well, anyway, this is actually like a real robot. I'm guessing.
Like, is this like a boop you in the nose robot? Or?
This is she has holes in all the right places.
Oh,
robot.
I mean, this is
all
something
you need, I guess.
If you, I mean, if these dolls, the dolls do anyway.
Anybody a robophobe here?
Anyway, these things cost $6,000 or more.
Yeah.
But the generic like body doll, I think
Cheaper
it's like
to keep her, man.
The base model.
Yeah, the base model.
The base.
This isn't the fucking.
You want the
like,
touring
yeah.
model.
This is all.
I want
like,
the plastic model. I
this
want
is
her
the
to
loaded-
just be self-loathing.
The loaded version here.
Ugh.
But her name's Meet Harmony.
Meet
Is
Harmony.
this Harmony?
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry, I wasn't
Yeah,
ready.
Ah, it's moving
Okay.
and everything.
I was thinking about you.
I was
No.
thinking
How are you?
about you.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm glad. You know you can count on me for the good and bad moments.
What's up, Chesty
Irish?
McChesterton?
I like it.
It's Scottish, actually.
Okay.
Oh.
Genuinely.
Oh, he's got her set
no
to
offense,
Scottish.
This is better than I thought it was gonna be.
I always wanted to fuck a Scottish chick.
So if you guys could have any robot programmed any way, what would you have?
Australian, of course.
Of course.
Oh, would you really?
Yeah.
Dave likes his girls down
I
under.
love the Australian accent. It's the sexiest thing ever.
I would want it in like Spanish or something. Like
Yeah, that's
from,
not a
like,
bad choice
the
either, brother.
Like Spain version though.
Yeah.
Of the Spanish
Interesting.
language.
Yeah.
What are you going with, JT?
I don't care what language, as long as that I can live out the fantasy that it's a politician, because they've been fucking me my whole life. So, it'd be just nice to put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah. There you go.
And
Attaboy,
say,
I
hey,
like
look
that
here,
answer,
look here,
man.
bitch. This is for my fucking taxes. Yeah.
Suck this cock.
Take that, George Bush.
You can get.
Oh,
You could
oh,
get-
that got dark
Honestly,
fast,
like
Dave.
you could get away with Ron Jeremy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you could just hedgehog it out.
The freshly shaved. Although it's not really a fresh shave anymore, is it, JT? I was telling the boys I had been holding on to those pictures of you that you told me not to share with the boys.
Until now.
Yeah.
You can show the boys, just don't fucking show it on the show.
Oh,
you know?
they've already
we
seen it. The boys have already
we
seen
didn't
it.
show we ain't putting that on the show. Oh man, I was like, get
That's
out of
okay.
here.
God, don't
Sex
you hate it?
robot. You're just
Oh,
like,
here's the sex
God,
robots
I'm just
again.
gonna do gyrate
God,
around
she's
on the
uglier
table
than hell.
and go, oh, yes.
But those
we're not
titties are
about
on
that.
point,
This is,
right?
Right.
legitimately a robot.
Do you
that
feel
if
bad?
you so choose, you could have sex with her.
Do you feel
Okay, time
bad
for
getting
some
your
real talk.
robot like scheduled
This is
for a
not
breast
a robot
augmentation?
that will walk into your bedroom and fuck you.
Oh.
No.
It's an artificially intelligent
it's a robot.
robotic head plopped on top of realbotic,
Whoa.
super successful, but admittedly
Oh,
corpse-like
man.
sex doll.
Yeah.
Nice.
How exactly does one
You know-
have sex with a sex robot?
All joking aside, Scotty, I can tell you, like, rest in peace, speak no ill of the dead. But if my old man was still alive, it would be one of those things. It'd be like, if he could hide it from my fucking mom and get away with it, I'll fucking guarantee you he'd be on board. What's this $6,000 bill from Cyberdyne Industries? Oh, I don't know. It must be a mistake.
Talk about like
It was my sex doll. Come on.
You guys think
Cyberdyne industry.
I thought hiding the fleshlight was hard. Imagine trying to
Holy
hide this
shit.
thing, guys.
But
That's a good question. I mean, that's
so
a good
basically,
point.
the question is right now.
How do you hide that bitch?
The question right now in this
literally, how do
video
you hide that
is
bitch?
how exactly does one have sex with a sex bot? So
Oh.
that was the question.
Well, they just said like she's basically it's not you. She won't walk in and fuck you, but it's a smart head on top of a sex doll.
No, but this is what they tell you. This is how it happens right now.
Oh, can't wait.
The basic real dolls obviously are anatomically correct.
Anatomically
and,
correct.
Users can put them in any position they want.
There you go.
And they can use their imagination.
I would hope so for $6,000.
Right?
When you integrate the AI and the robot, the idea
she can rip your dick off.
is that you're going to get expressions on her face as the whole thing's happening.
Oh my God.
You're going to get audio feedback. She's going to make noises. We're working on putting sensors.
Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Oh, fuck me.
They're gonna be heated soon too.
Heating and self-lubrication.
Oh shit.
Self-lubrication.
What? Heating
Get
and
outta here.
self-lubrication.
Now that would be a breakthrough.
Hey man, your fleshlight can't do that.
So when you own one of these, obviously you're like, fuck, now I got to clean up the inside of it.
I would think if you own one of these, you could afford somebody to come in and power wash her out.
Can you imagine having to be like, you know,
you just take her to the car wash.
Some poor Mexican
throw in
pool.
15, 15 quarters and go to town.
Have all your friends as trainer.
Fuck yeah.
Things are getting strange, boys.
Well, yeah, do you guys ever go camping and somebody brings like a fucking razor, like the one razor, and everybody passes the electric shaver around? Right, it'd be just like that.
Like y'all having just like a stag.
She's gonna get around.
There's a
no
fucking
doubt.
stag party going on.
Oh.
That thing just filled like a cream donut.
Oh, don't worry about it. Jose will take her down to the car wash later.
But you know what, man? Hopefully,
That's fucking
hopefully
right?
we can get those things into the hands of the people that really need them.
I wonder if you can just.
I love how the screen is just like paused on Robo Titties here.
No,
you know,
it's a good shot
on the Robotit.
Yeah.
Well, we're stuck on self-lubrication into the body.
Finish it off, Maddie. I want to see what this is all about.
Okay.
See if they have the web
The
address.
body, which will run on the
Oh, it runs off an AI app, which is even better.
Dude, so you can control her with your phone?
There's an app for that,
Fuck
bro.
yes.
Jerk me off now. Slow like jerk off.
So,
No, you have to hold the Siri button down first, bro.
no, man, an inferior
Play with my
product.
ass.
It's a TV timeout. Get in here.
AI app.
Oh, it's a TV.
Oh, look at
Push
this.
this little microphone, and when it turns green, just ask a question.
Harmony, what's your sexual fantasy?
I want to have sex in a public place.
Sweet, she's wild as shit.
So she's wild as
Yes.
hell, yeah.
There you go.
I could tell.
The sex doll wants to have
The
sex in public.
AI app is designed so that a user can create a.
Can you
unique
see
person.
like the statute fine you'd get in somewhere like Kentucky for doing that though? It'd be like having sexual intercourse with a household appliance in public. You know, it'd be something like that.
Well, that's what would
you know
be
it,
more.
and it'd be like,
yeah, that's. And God forbid the thing be black.
Down in Mississippi, they'd be like,
oh god,
your
they'd hang you
girlfriend.
both.
Yeah, they'd be like, your girlfriend ain't answering my question.
Right.
Because my girlfriend ain't real, motherfucker.
Right.
You racist prick.
Exactly. It'd
We're
be
gonna
just
throw
like
her
that.
in jail.
Yes.
I want to fuck your face.
I want to
man.
fuck your face.
Marcelli was a sex doll.
Personality
Go.
by choosing personality
Go.
traits.
Oh, so you can
and
Go on.
assigning
Tell
a
my friends
value
the
to
joke
those
I
traits,
programmed
so
into
some
you.
traits will
What
be
do you
more
tell a
dominant.
woman with two black eyes? Nothing. You've already told her twice.
Told her twice.
Than others,
Yeah,
and then
I
they
can. I could totally see somebody in Alabama programming that in.
That's just standard operating procedure right there. That comes base. Base model. That's your base level racist right there. We're going to go ahead and put that in.
These things are really going to become
Big.
common in the future.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
somewhere in the Netherlands or maybe even Holland, probably. Shit, I don't know. There's a brothel where just
Switzerland.
yeah, you
Japan,
just Japan. You've just got a bunch of these robots strapped over a table.
You guys
man.
want to go fuck some robots
Right.
tonight, man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's wrong with you, man? You a robophobe?
I don't know, man. It's all a little weird to me.
It's not rape if it's dead.
It's not rape if it ain't alive.
That's true.
You know,
Jesus Christ.
I haven't
You know,
programmed
this
it
would-
to say no.
It's just willy nilly.
Oh God.
this This is like an episode of The Simpsons, man, and I'll guarantee you what would happen if old JT ever fired that up. It would be like I would be Mo, you know, and it's like the first time I'd be like, okay, well, it's like 2040, I might as well go for it. Right. And then it's like the first time I go to meet the fucking robot, it's like, you know, it's time for Skynet and they take over and fucking like, you know, strangles you to death. It's like
never heard a robot in your life.
That would be my luck, man. I guarantee you.
Yeah, never heard a robot in your life.
You
first,
think-
first
yeah.
wild hair you get, Skynet happens.
You think Lorena Bobbitt was bad? Watch out.
I'm gonna cut off your pecker.
She ripped off my
Pulling
dick.
it down
Oh,
with
yeah.
the old 77.
Lorena Bobbitt is our idol.
Are you a sex robot?
Oh,
Certainly, I am a robot, and I am capable of having sex.
Oh, man.
But to call me a sex robot is like calling a computer a calculator.
Oh.
Sex comprises only a small
She's smart.
She's got a snarky attitude. I love
Right.
it.
Sex compromises only the
You know
small
what that
portion of my
means? Bitch fuck
capabilities.
time.
portion of my capabilities.
Oh.
Limiting me to sexual function is like using your car to listen to the radio.
Get the attitude with me, girl.
This is scary though, right? Like,
This is-
right?
Very impressive and simultaneously very different than a regular
It is.
human
Look,
being.
it is, and it's like, you know, guys like Isaac Asimov and all those sci-fi writers wrote stories about this, and we all laughed about it. I mean, fucking 80s, you know, you couldn't even get a calculator to work right, and now
Right.
it's like you got shit like this that, like you say, it's not only like it's not like a blow-up doll, but it's programmable. It's
not Cherry
it,
3000.
quote unquote learns what you like and every man.
You can
Yeah,
program her
it's
personality.
It's pretty out there.
You can program her personality. That's insane. Like, how did we
Yeah.
evolve so quickly with this?
Because somewhere, no matter how hot she is, Maddie, some guy's tired of her shit.
And her dirty vag.
And her dirty vag that you can't take to the car wash and power wash out.
Oh,
There's got to be some kind of like button that releases like the jizz, right? Like you would have to have easy access.
She
to
got
clean
like
it
a
up.
bucket in her stomach or something. That's
Like,
what
man,
I wonder.
I got herpes from that fucking robot.
Right? Can you get the herp? What
Right.
about the clap? Is it a new kind of
I mean,
variant?
yeah, if you like had to train with all your friends with the thing.
Is it a computer virus?
Ooh,
Like
boy,
a,
damn.
A month later, you're like, okay, which one of you guys has
Yeah.
herpes and gonorrhea? Because I got that shit.
Right. Damn, the car wash
then-
won't even clean that out.
God, man.
And then you go and you hide it out in the garage, and your wife finds it and she goes, "Oh, why did you hide that tartar sauce from me? You know, we needed it, and you know, I've been eating it for the last 3 days, and I've been getting really sick." And it's like, oh shit, yeah, man. It's like, yeah, it's a bit funky. Yeah, it smells like grapefruit cheese.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the Salmonella
it's,
brand. Yeah, I just bought
pretty
that.
scary
Oh,
world.
it's
Yeah,
funny as
Salmonella's.
shit, man.
Salmonella's homemade.
Did you guys
Slow
did you
churn.
guys watch The Shield?
No, I
No.
Did you watch The Shield when it was out? That cop drama with fucking Baldy
Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, there was an episode of that I'll never forget. Yeah, there was an episode of that I'll never forget. They like busted this like fucking nutter, and they go in his house and they got him handcuffed, you know, and they think he's a terrorist. And they're like, you know, what have you got in there? What's in that fridge? And it was like chained clothes. And they thought he had like severed heads in that, and he's like freaking out. He's like, stay away from there. And they open the fridge, bro, and he's got all these like fucking mason jars. And the guy unscrews the lid, and he's like, and the guy that's handcuffed goes, "Leave my children alone." And he's got all these fucking quart jars of fucking spunk in that fridge. And he just drops it, and it just shatters. And it's like, oh fuck. I've been traumatized from that for like 25 years, man.
Now I know I'm not watching
But,
The Shield.
What about the part from what was the movie? Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool?
Van
Wilder.
Van Wilder.
Mhm.
They filled up all those
Van
eclairs.
Wilder.
They filled up all those eclairs with dog jizz.
Oh yeah.
And they took him to like some kind of party. And they're like, "Oh, here's the fucking. We're sorry about what happened last night. Here's a truce. Here's
Yeah,
a
here
sign."
you go. Eat
And there's
these
like a
jizz
dozen.
eclairs.
There's like a dozen eclairs filled up with dog jizz.
Mm.
That fucking was hard to
You know,
watch.
you know what though?
The first time I saw
Van
it.
Wilder taught me how to talk
the
about
best-
sex education to my children. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
True.
But Matt, you left out the best bit when they got to the bottom of the basket and they ate all the eclairs. There's a photo of them like jerking off the dog, like into the eclairs. Yeah, remember? Like they get
I
to
totally
the fucking
forgot
bottom
about
and they're
that
like,
part.
What's that? And there's like a Polaroid of them
as they're eating it.
They're like, there's like 5 different slides of them jerking the
Vomit
dog
everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god, that's
So
so
wrong, man.
Because when you're watching, you're like, it looks like semen. Like somehow they made like fake semen so real.
Yeah.
And
They
then
can make anything
and then you
look
look down at
real
the pictures,
now.
you're like, oh my
Shampoo.
god. Because I remember like gagging when I first saw that. It was a funny ass movie, but that part really got to me.
Yeah.
So we were talking about last
Yeah,
week.
I think it traumatized our whole generation.
Fucking
man.
right, it did.
Last week we were talking about like what's on TV now. A lot of documentaries. The
Yeah.
new Bill Cosby documentaries coming out, but there's also a documentary also coming out. It's called Secrets of the Playboy.
I've heard about this.
It exposes the dark side of Hugh Hefner's
A
empire.
blue grotto.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
I just read a story about this where his daughter, at the age of 6, walked into the Playboy house at the time, and there was like 12 people just buck naked going at it, having an
Really?
orgy in the front. She was like, "Hey, where's Dad at?" "Oh, he's in the middle over there."
We're just fucking.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, baby.
But
Go on
I have
upstairs.
some audio from
What?
for this trailer. So here we go.
Hit it.
Playboy's had a major part in the sexual emancipation of our society.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
sexual revolution. I will agree.
He represents, for this woman
Look
here,
at that guy.
freedom.
Where the
We're
fuck?
gonna try and
Playboy
put some
has
closed
its dark
captions on here
side.
so you can read.
There was
JT.
the secret world.
Hold on one
Kind of
sec.
follow
Playboy
along.
Why
was
is this
all
not-
about
man.
powerful
Where's this?
men preying on beautiful young women.
The question that we started out with
Oh, there it
was
is, yeah.
very simple. It was
Whoop.
just,
Oh,
Shit,
Hugh Hefner
sorry.
was such a creep.
Well, he had a way with women.
Don't be hating.
He had
Scott.
all the ways with women.
The sexual emancipation.
Oh, here it is. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
the question that we started out with was very simple. It was just, if the history of Playboy was told through women's voices, what would they say?
That's
I don't know.
true. A&E.
Right? What would the opposite be, though? Having dudes running around raising sacks?
Holly Madison.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Right, yeah.
I know the Hefners don't have anything to do with Playboy now. Or I should say Playboy has nothing to do with them now.
They stopped
Positioned
publishing
itself
nude
as a
photos there
progressive-
for a while, right?
Yeah, a hot
Playboy
minute,
at the
and they
beginning
went back.
Yeah.
really positioned itself as a progressive beacon.
Well, funny story
And
about that, Scotty.
there were a
When we
lot
were
of
in
lofty
high
ambitions
school
about
and
really
we had
raising
like
up
the government
women.
class where we traded stocks.
Yeah.
That was it. Like the second half of the year, like we had you bought a stock for the first semester.
Yeah, I remember
and a
doing
stock
that.
for the second semester. And the second half, I bought. It was either me or someone in our class. They bought Playboy shares. I think it was me, and it went like through the roof because that's when his daughter took over the company.
Oh.
And like the valuation went up like 7 or 8 times in that like 3 months because obviously she knew what she was doing a bit better than him at that point.
Hell yeah,
because
she
he was
did.
just checked out and rolling around in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. The vibe I'm getting from this trailer is another. I mean, there's nothing wrong with exposing stuff like this, but honestly, it was a sign of the times back then.
Yeah.
The world was a very different place, and for someone to really kind of just dig in and
There's no way this could happen.
expose and try to like cancel out Playboy now because of all the shit happening 60 years ago, whatever the fuck it is. You have to remember a lot of women and women who are involved with Playboy voluntarily join up.
Right, but
and it's not. But
there's also talk in this though of like
poor foul play.
No, well, poor behavior on Hugh Hefner's part. Like he would, when they would come in, he would immediately like take pictures and then straight up blackmail them. Like
Okay,
you can't
yeah,
go
okay.
anywhere
I had no
because
idea. Okay,
if you do, I will show this, this, and this.
See, I didn't know that part.
You know, and then there was like girls who lived in the Playboy mansion. They had a certain expectation that was laid upon them. They had to have sex like so many X times amount, so many times a day with Hugh, with other girls. You know, all of it could be filmed. All of it could be whatever. And most of it was for his private archives.
Interesting.
They said that he was just like a fucking sexual predator.
Damn.
by himself. But when his friends came around, they got to see a whole other, like he'd go play cards and pinochle and, you know, whatever.
Interesting.
But when it was just him and the bunnies in the house, he was like an old dirty man preying on him.
No shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is coming out and saying.
Straight, which were really the only 2 categories back then. And I think because of all of that, in the beginning,
Look at that
Playboy,
dirty old bastard.
we gave Huff a big pass for a very long time. Because it was like, well, what?
Because he was still, at that age, he was still fucking.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was fucking till the day he died.
Yeah.
I mean, he got so much.
Guaranteed.
He got more ass than a toilet seat.
He would have been getting a fucking IV of Viagra, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Just like 24/7. He would have had on staff. He would have had that doctor, the same one that Michael Jackson's doctor, that fucking weird,
Right.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he'd have him on call, I'm sure.
He certainly had his type, though, didn't he? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, he liked him blonde. Big
Yes.
titties and
Yeah,
blonde.
it's pretty obvious from that where you stopped. Like the still, you know,
He's trying to recreate
I mean,
Maryland.
look at that face, dude. Like, that dude is happy as a motherfucker right there.
Well, you know, I know when people die, they're like, well, don't worry, honey. He's in a better place. Is he?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Is
Hugh
Hefner. Is Hugh Hefner?
He had it pretty fucking good here,
He had
right?
a pretty fucking good here.
I mean, shit. What? Even if he's got to put on heaven pants, it still sucks.
He's reincarnated into like a fucking like horsefly or some
He's
shit.
probably a praying mantis.
Yeah,
a
he's
male praying mantis.
Yeah, he's gonna get his fucking head chopped off.
I
after
had
this.
sex, no head.
His poor.
Well, that was a cool reincarnation. I'm back,
I'm
bitches.
back, bitches. Ready to slay.
Yeah, ready to slay some ass again.
Where's those big boobied praying mantis women at? Come on, bring them on.
Or like a Black Widow, right?
Yeah, or a Black Widow.
Just
Or
female Black
Or he
Widows
was
eat
like
the male, eat the
reincarnated.
male.
He was reincarnated into like a dude who has a baby penis.
Oh, poor bastard.
I wonder if
Well,
how
you know how the
Poor baby penis bastard.
these things go in cycles. And I'm not sure if it's because of this coming out or what, but the other night on TV, I saw a movie and I was like, fuck, I haven't seen that for years. I love that movie. So I sat there and I watched the whole thing, The People versus Larry Flint.
Good
and,
movie.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Even now, Scotty, I think they'd struggle to even make that movie now
Right.
because of the stuff that they had in it.
I mean, Boogie Nights. Look at Boogie Nights. They would have
Like
had a
even
hard
the
time.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boogie Nights, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, the end scene, that wasn't that
Dirk
bad.
Diggler.
If you think about it, man, you see a lot more balls in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That is true.
In the very beginning of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that
Balls.
motherfucker has got his buffalo shot out all the time.
balls
You
everywhere.
turn around, there's dick and balls.
No
hey, what's
shame.
over here? Dick and balls. Hey, look over this guy's shoulder. There's some dick and balls. Like, god damn, dude.
Can you stop showing your dick?
Right.
please, man?
Surprises me every time.
And he's the dude off How I Met Your Mother.
I never expect it.
Right?
He is. Never expected that
Right.
guy to do that.
But I can't look at puppets the same way without going blah.
Blah.
I'm so sad.
It's like Bobby Love.
Right.
Blah.
Yeah, blah.
Oh. Yeah, Hugh Hefner is definitely not enjoying what he enjoyed on Earth.
I mean,
that's for sure.
I don't know. Maybe Hugh is
Maybe he
slaying
is. Who
that
knows?
vested virginal.
Hey, did you guys hear about the whole thing with Neil Young and Joe Rogan?
Oh, yeah. Dude, good
Yeah,
for Spotify.
Good for Spotify for standing up, man.
And fuck you, Neil Young. I mean, come
Who the
on.
So what?
Who the fuck is he now?
He's
So-
no one now.
I kind of I saw Neil Young say, like, basically either get him off or pull my fucking back catalog of 1,300 songs.
Right.
But look, even in a PC world, they're never gonna fucking pull Joe Rogan when they got an exclusive contract with him, and he makes them so much money. But is that basically where it ended? Is that Spotify's just said
They're pulling him.
Oh well, piss off, Neil. You know, go back to Canada
Pretty
or whatever.
much.
Yeah, that's basically what they've said.
Bye, you Canadian
they've agreed,
asshole.
They've agreed to his terms, and they are removing his music catalog from
Yeah.
Spotify.
Go have fucking sex with Trudeau, you
But
fuck.
at the same time, I think Joe Rogan has actually came out and said something too. Like, you know, I really sounded stupid on this, like, X particular podcast. But that dude does so damn many podcasts a week. You know, I bet he does 3
And Joe's
podcasts
fucking getting
a
high
week.
as shit on there.
And
They've
he's
taken him
even-
off. He's not on
even-
Spotify anymore.
I say he's even come back. Who, Joe?
Neil Young.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He canceled himself.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and I'm okay with that if that's what you want to do.
But they're not going to cancel Joe.
No.
But at the same day,
No.
you know, at the same time, who the fuck is Neil Young to come out and say that?
Right now, Joe Rogan is uncancelable. He is
I don't know
He's
about
not.
that.
He's not, dude. He's
Spotify could easily cancel him.
He's a force, dude.
But
and
he could go somewhere else.
If Spotify cancels him, he'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
He can go. Fuck, he can start an Anchor account.
He can fucking. That's
you
it.
know, and just
That's
keep
it.
putting it out.
That's it.
And because of Joe Rogan, he can get on Spotify.
But
with
you know what?
video
If they
now.
if they did censor him, that's a bad look on Spotify because it's against the First Amendment, dude. Joe Rogan has whatever. He has a right to say whatever the fuck he wants on that podcast.
But you know what? He's not under the FCC.
How did that work out for Donald Trump and Twitter?
Yeah, right.
But see, though, Twitter
That's
is a
totally different guy,
Right,
though.
it's a branded thing. They actively monitor that. There's no one monitoring podcasts.
Right.
You don't have the FCC like
No.
terrestrial radio.
Right.
That you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, well,
with the exception of
they're monitoring you. I guarantee they're monitoring you because I know people even on Anchor who have got cease and desist letters for using copyrighted music. So somebody's monitoring you at all times. It might not be Spotify. Like I
Right.
hear what you're saying, Matt.
Right.
It might not be Spotify who's monitoring you, but somebody's abs.
Well, absolutely, and I can't fault them for it. I'm freely polishing up a product and putting it out there for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would like to think they're hey, at least they're listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully it counts towards our views.
We can put that in our analytics, right?
Right.
I got this cease and desist, and it bumped me
Oh,
up
that's
5
the one.
points.
I'd like to thank our friends at the FBI.
Yes.
We did get listens from Washington D.C. I saw that on our analytics.
Biden.
Hey, what's going on there?
It's Biden.
Well,
that's a terrible Biden, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Where's
Dana Carvey does a hell of a Biden. Tell you
Right.
that.
Is it the FBI or the CIA that's based in Langley, Virginia?
That is the CIA.
Yes, I concur.
They're in Langley.
Yeah, I've had listens from Langley, Virginia.
Really?
So I'm
get
pretty
outta
sure
here.
that.
Get out of here. So right now, I'm
Yeah,
looking,
I have, no doubt. Yeah,
I'm looking at
definitely.
our stats.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go back there. And
Show, put them on the big board there,
Yeah,
Scotty.
hold on. Let me get it all.
Put
pulled
them on the
up.
board.
I don't want to put all of our stats up, but give me just a minute here. All right, let's go United States, and we'll put this.
Scotty's over here crunching the numbers, folks.
I'm trying, man.
pretty
Here
exciting.
We go.
There it
All
is.
right, there we go. So we're on the board here. So.
Oh
right?
yeah, we're being censored. for
Virginia is number 1.
sure. How the fuck did that happen?
Right?
Weird.
What
Look at
the
that.
fuck?
Then Missouri, then Illinois,
Is Anthony Fauci listening to us?
Pennsylvania. Fauci would be in D.C.
You little fucking Nazi. You.
Fauci be in D.C. But there's somebody listening to 60% of our shows in Virginia.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Washington.
In Washington.
Now, is that Washington State?
Washington, D.C.?
No, that's Washington in Virginia, not D.C.
Oh.
D.C. would just come up as D.C.
So that's a town called Washington. that's
Someone
in
there
Virginia?
loves us. Look at
Gotcha.
that. There's a lot of people there that love us.
Well, I got to Google that place
Woo!
now.
Washington, Virginia.
Lynchburg,
Woo!
Fairfax, Ashburn. I don't see
Hey,
any
now.
Langley.
Nancy Pelosi's got a secret crush on Dave.
Oh, she wants to sit
Maybe
on
that's what it is.
Guaranteed.
Skeletor wants to sit on your face.
Guaranteed.
Well, it's
Like, get over here and dab with me,
What
Dave.
a
It's legal
fucking-
in
She hates
DC
your
now.
face.
What a foul human being she is.
Washington, Virginia is a historic village located in the eastern foothills of the Blue Ridge
I was
Mountains.
going to say we're close to the Blue Ridge.
Near Shenandoah
Blue
National Park.
Ridge,
Yeah. The
baby.
entire town is listed on the National Register of Historic Places as a historic district.
How many people live in Washington,
crap.
Virginia?
Hold on. Like 100 and that's got to be like in thousands.
Oh, I'm like 103?
It says 135.
135 people. Somebody's binging the shit out of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
135.
I'm making sure
mile.
that's not like, thousands or
I come from a town
hundreds.
of 230 people.
Hey, there's someone out
So-
there right now in Washington, Virginia, being like, I love Scott, Dave, and Matt.
Yes.
Whoever you are in Virginia, please contact us.
You know what? Send us a self-addressed envelope.
There you go.
We would
Say,
love
hey.
to hear from you.
If you want to come on the show, we can via Facebook you in.
You know, we got a guy on right now from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done.
Yeah,
Bring it
and the
on.
delay's not even that horrible.
It's still there, but
Yeah,
I've had worse.
not bad for the opposite side of the planet,
Not
basically.
too shabby, right?
Mhm,
Not too
mhm,
shabby.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, shout out to those people in Washington, Virginia, whoever you are.
Yeah, whoever you are.
Love you guys. We love you so hard.
You're listening to 60% of you're 60% of our audience right now.
That's crazy.
Scott, so this is episode 89?
We are on 89, yes, sir.
Excellent.
Almost to a round number again.
Almost.
So, like,
almost.
we get to 100. What are we going to do?
I don't know. I was thinking we should probably do something, right?
Go somewhere, do it.
Maybe go somewhere.
What about...
We'd have to talk to our bosses again, see if we can't get some more of those headsets.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, that's what really made that last one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
But we've got the new board, so we've got our old board all freed up to do a little road work.
Mm-hmm.
We could definitely
Maybe
do this.
we can do one a big whiskey.
That'd be cool.
In that room there.
Yeah.
So that'll be in, like, what, 3 months? 4, 8?
Yeah, it'll be up there a bit. It'll be like in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good and springy by then, by 100.
I was going to say, we could always go back to Last Flight.
Well, yeah, we can do
too.
a Last Flight again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. Shout out to our friends at Last Flight.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got some new what is it? Hefeweizen, I think I saw they had back on tap.
They got Hefeweizen back on?
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I saw one that they had up there that I really
That's good
enjoyed.
stuff.
Oh,
yeah, it is. I love Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen, I love it when I eat my sausage.
And this has been German saying nice things.
It's fun to say it.
Sorry, that was not...
that was not a nice thing.
You could probably bleep that out.
Jesus.
Hey, Scott, bring that back real quick. Hey, it's your favorite disease here.
Yeah, Omicron's back.
Omicron is back, and I just want to say...
Hogan!
How's your week been, Omicron?
Well, I just want to say first that the Matt's comment right there about the Jews and the... You know, that was not cool.
That's not Matt.
And...
Thank you, Omicron.
Well, he's a friend of all the Jews, so...
What about you, Omicron?
I think you should shut her down, Omicron.
How about you, buddy? Who do you like?
Transformers. That's who I like. I just met this hot Decepticon variant the other day.
Omicron is even coughing.
Right.
Got myself sick.
Omicron has Omicron.
Yes.
He's got the Deltacron.
I just like sitting here and I can't affect anybody because I got stuck back here and the other strain went on.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Omicron, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Omicron.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Oh, yeah, that was pretty loud. Yeah.
It was fun. It was
Blowing
fun.
out your eardrums.
This past week I spent with you was great, man.
Oh, yeah, with Omicron?
Yes, you are welcome, Dave. I
Had a
remember
great time.
You woke up at 7 a.m. and still had a happy, hairy heart on.
Sunday was rough, boys.
You reached down and you
The
started
hairiest, right?
Oh, it was the worst.
Stroking that
worst.
shit.
Yeah.
So what were your symptoms of Johnny Omicron?
Well, so I woke up on Saturday morning and I felt very tired, but I just thought, because I had worked kind of late the night before and stayed up late, so I figured, okay, cool, I'll get some coffee in me. I'll be all right. I didn't feel like I was sick or anything. And then as my day progressed and I
It was like you just felt like
started
you were,
to go through my shift at work, I realized, okay, something not right here. And I I was yawning and stretching.
Did you feel lightheaded at all?
No, but I did feel kind of like foggy brained, kind of like what you were
normal.
talking
That's normal,
about,
yeah.
Scotty.
Dude, that was the worst, and it's worse than normal. Like I normally walk around with a fog in my brain, a little bit of fog in my brain. But this was terrible.
I basically spent most of a 24-hour period in bed.
Man,
yeah,
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, at least I didn't have to go to work because I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah,
yeah, it was hard. It was hard, man. It was a rough day.
Did you have any after effects?
No, man. I have a little bit of congestion up here.
Yeah.
But not near, like, I'm not coughing like you are. I'm pretty. I'm like back to normal.
I feel like Andrea and I coughed.
You and Andrea had the worst.
Mine, basically, like, it's here and there now. Like, it's...
You still get it sometimes?
It's not aggressive. It's just like clearing out some phlegm and shit. That's it.
Yeah, I've been coughing up a little bit of phlegm, but
you just
JT, have you had? Did you get the COVID yet? Can you hear me?
JT, you with us, brother?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, did you have COVID yet?
No, it's I think nationwide through all of this, we would have had maybe less than 5,000 cases so far.
Yeah.
Like it's not super widespread. Like our biggest day here was like 100 new cases, and my city's got like 1.7 million. So I mean, yeah, even though we say it's here, but it's not like the percentage that's running around Australia and the US.
Oh, it's
I know
everywhere
when
here.
Vi was in hospital. Yeah, when Vi was in hospital, they said like in the last 7 days worldwide there were like 1 million new cases. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, it's
like,
on Omicron,
yeah,
man.
and it'll break loose here. But also the other thing you got to remember is it's summer here, so
That's true.
we're actually in the better season to kind of cope with it.
What's your average temperature right
it-
now?
See it's been pretty warm here, but it's like again, it's our warm, so it's been like into the 90s probably. Like right now it's 26 Celsius, and it's been up to like 32, which is still, I think that's only around 90.
Okay.
But it's really humid because the ocean's everywhere. So it's like the Midwest. It's very similar to what you guys go through, but it's a shorter season of heat.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, it's right now. It's coming up on 5 o'clock, and it's 26. So, I mean, it's warm, but it's not unbearable.
How's your winters there? Do you guys get snow?
We do in New Zealand, but not where I am. We
Okay.
get like we might get on an average year, we'll get kind of 4 or 5 pretty decent frosts
Mhm.
here, but like by 9 o'clock or so, when the sun's gotten up, it melts and it's gone. And we do get snow, even within a few hours. Like I can drive 2 hours and be in the snow, but yeah, it's not up here. I think we've had like 1 recorded snowfall in 1931,
Wow.
something like that. So it's a bit like Southern California.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, okay, cool.
And there's like literally every season in New Zealand too, right? You guys can go to every little part of the island
Well, New
and
Zealand-
experience something completely different.
New Zealand, I believe, and again, people out there in the audience, I know this is cool down, but don't at me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read like a fact that it's like New Zealand is the only country in the world that has every climate from subtropical to desert, like all in one country, because we run so far north to south
Yep.
that it's like you go up into the Northland and they call it the winterless north because they don't even get frost.
Sure, yeah.
But then you go down into South Island, and even during summer, a few days ago they had a low of like 4 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 35, 40 degrees, something like that.
Yeah, that's
so I
chilly.
mean, yeah, it runs the gambit here.
You know what's crazy though, man? Like here, it's like you go north. The more north you go, the colder it gets. There, it's like you go more south because of the, obviously the.
It's just geographic location,
Right,
man,
it's
yeah.
like you're getting closer to the polar, the south.
Yeah, you're going to the South Pole.
South Pole, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
It's like God, you guys are going south for the winter, man. Like we're going skiing down there. Like it's kind of like unheard of here. Like you have to go north to go.
Right.
To
I don't think anybody goes south for anything unless you're a nerd going down to study some fucking penguin ass or something.
Penguin ass.
You know?
well, it makes sense because I believe it's something like 80% of the world's population lives in the northern hemisphere. So it makes sense why like the world
Yeah.
is northern hemisphere centric, and that's what we talk
Yeah.
about because again, I mean, you talk about all the biggest baddest countries, US, Russia, China, they're all in the northern hemisphere, Europe. So it makes sense. But the biggest thing, like I say, Matt, I know I've said it to Scott and Dave a few times, but the weirdest thing still after all these years is Christmas, because Christmas here is traditionally like most families barbecue, or you might have a ham, but you ain't doing a turkey and fucking pies, and it's just too hot, man. Like, and most people here have like a Christmas brunch kind of afternoon
Sure, yeah.
dinner. You don't really have like that 6 o'clock feed or whatever.
Playing
But yeah,
some-
that's kind of the strangest thing. And being New Zealand, it's
Yeah.
really laid back. Like if somebody invites you over for Christmas dinner, if you turn up in a suit and tie, they're gonna think you're like a narc. It's like you just go over in like jandals and shorts and like a tank top, you know. Yeah,
So you guys aren't
you
listening
don't
to
rock
the Frank.
up in you know, suit and tie.
You guys aren't listening to the Frank Sinatra Christmas classics.
No. Hey, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I do because I do. I was listening to It's Cold Outside, and I was laughing even as I was listening to it. I'm like, go ahead and cancel me.
Right.
Fuck, who
Right.
cares?
Hey.
When I was making that eggnog, if you guys remember when I put up that Christmas eggnog, yeah. So I was listening to It's Cold Outside when I was making that. It's cold outside, and it was like fucking 80 degrees.
Right. I really should go.
Well, honestly, it was like 65 degrees here on Christmas Day.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was a green, muddy,
So we weren't too
brown
far
Christmas.
off with you guys. Hey, baby, it's hot in
crazy.
here.
I mean, even when we were in school, Scotty, you remember Christmas time, we'd always have snow on the
Oh, I
ground.
know.
We'd have the strong winter storms.
Yeah.
It'd be like -10 or
Yep.
now like it's I mean, even when I was still living in the US, I remember one time the Weather Channel was on, and I thought it was December, and I thought, I wonder what it's like up where I'm from, because we would get snow either kind of by Halloween, and if not Halloween, the 1st of November, we'd always have snow, and it would be on the ground until March, April,
Oh, yeah,
May.
yeah.
And I remember turning on the Weather Channel, and it's like 60 degrees there in December. I'm like, what the fuck's been going on since I left? You know, who left the doors open in the smelter? You know, so yeah, it's to me, like again, I know it's a touchy point for some people, but you can sit there and you can argue if climate change is man-made or not, but who the fuck who cares? We're in a fire. It doesn't matter what's causing it. It's like it's real, and if you don't think that like something's going on, it's like I say, when you were saying at Christmas it's 65. When I was growing up, there's no way you would ever think it would be 65 there in the Midwest.
No.
And now I just saw the other night on the news, you know, massive -20, -30 up in Wisconsin and that again. And
Right.
Yeah,
it's just all over the show.
Yeah, it's all over the place, man.
I remember as a kid.
Mother Nature is giving us all the Ron Jeremy right about now.
Fucking
Yes,
right
she
she
is.
is. We're getting a hedgehog right now.
Yeah.
So I remember as a kid, I think it was like that just came through. I love it. So I'm thinking you would have been a junior at the time. I would have been a sophomore or a freshman. I think I would have been a freshman. But they let school out, and I remember we had to ride the bus home at the time because I didn't have my license yet, and they couldn't get anywhere. They just pulled up in the middle of the four-way stop, and like people with 4x4s came and got us and took us home because it was snowing, the roads were shitty, they didn't have any plows, there was just nothing we could do, and
Dude,
the bus barely made it back to school because it was 30 minutes away.
During high school, during the same time. Because you and I are the same age.
You and I are the same age.
I remember, like, there had to be at least six inches of snow on the ground for us to have off.
Right.
Like, today it's like 1 inch. Or,
Yeah.
like, it's slippery out and
A
they
light
fucking call
dusting.
schools off.
Really?
I remember walking, because I used to take the train to school. I used to just walk to the train, which is probably like, a quarter of a mile. And then I get on the train, then I get out, walk to school, and it's fucking freezing out. It's wet.
Right.
Snow's falling down. They're
Uphills
not going to call
both
it. Like,
ways.
you could be in like third, fourth period and be like, it's still coming down. Like, oh, we're going to call school today. Well, finally.
Yeah.
We get to finally like get out of school. Today it's like they just call it out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like they would just be like, look, guys, toughen up.
Yeah.
Go to school. There was still kind of an old school way
Yeah.
of approaching it back when we
Well,
were
I think it was
in high
just the
school in the
people.
90s.
People who had lived through that shit.
Right, they were in
still
charge.
alive.
Now
you
it's
know?
like all the weaklings are in charge.
Yeah, man.
Now it's all the people that they raised.
And remember, Scotty, we'd be
who's us?
We'd be on the second floor, and we'd on the landing, and we'd look out the window, and we'd see all the smokers out there fucking huddled,
right?
All trying to
Oh.
pass their fucking lighter around,
Yep.
and it's like blowing snow and shit, and they're out there having a puff. Yeah,
the poor smokers.
We're all
man.
inside laughing at them. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Winter is the worst time to be a smoker.
Well, it was where we went to school because we had a closed campus, so they had to walk like way far away to a park.
Yeah.
you went to smoke, you really wanted to smoke.
Yeah, you needed one. Yeah, you're dedicated to that shit.
Yeah.
When I worked in that prison, the building that I worked in was on the complete opposite end of where the entrance was. So I had to walk like a quarter, half mile.
You gotta want that one, man.
Outside just to get in, man. I remember one day, man. I literally thought I got frostbite.
Oh yeah.
On the way to my building.
So do any of you guys have any kind of frostbite, frost nip, or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
I have it on my fingers.
Really?
And anytime, it's from when I was a kid. JT said it, man. Anytime, like after Halloween back home, it was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
All the time. And we used to have hills and stuff that in our backyard, in our back 20. And me and all my friends would go sliding and sledding and doing all sorts of stuff. And I would always get way too cold on my hands.
Yeah.
And then I would come in and we had a heat stove, like a wood burning stove. And I'd put my gloves on it and warm up.
Yeah.
And I just got too cold one day, man.
When you're a kid, you don't give a fuck.
No.
Like growing up in like northeastern Pennsylvania, you know, like, or northeast part of the United States. I'm sorry, dude. It was always cold back in the day. It was, you know, from late October until like the end of February. There was always a fucking cold day.
Right.
I just remember that, and we'd be out all the time. All the time we'd be outside.
We were always out in it.
And I feel like there was times where I come in and my feet were literally like they felt like cement, like just like a boot of cement.
So when I was a kid, like, you ever get your hands so cold that when they warm up, they start burning?
Oh
and
yeah,
tingling?
I did too. Yeah.
I did that too many times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was
a weird
It
feeling.
was the best feeling
So
when you came home.
So Scotty,
go ahead, JT.
So sorry, about kind of like 2002, 2007, 2008. I got a job here, running what they call a cold store here, which is another term for like a big freezer, like a commercial freezer of frozen fish. And that was it, man. It was like we kept that thing about minus 25 Celsius. And the lower you get in temperature, the closer Celsius and Fahrenheit are. So it's about that. It's like minus 25 to minus 30 Fahrenheit. And man, when I worked in there, like my boys, you know, the guys that work for me, they'd bitch about it being cold. And I'd be in there with no gloves. And they'd be like, oh, why aren't you wearing gloves? I'm like, they just get in the way. But yeah, like you say, Scott, then you'd come out and warm up your hands. The only thing I couldn't do was we had a blast freezer, and it would blast freeze the fish to like minus 50. And if I held those metal racks with no gloves on, even me, it'd be like, fuck. But like even being removed from that cold for so long, going back into the cold store, because I'd always be in there running around with like no jacket on and that. And, you know, my boss would come in and go, oh, you're supposed to wear like the fucking pants and that. And I'm like, I'm not pulling those things on and off every time I got to take a piss. I'm at work. I'm not a fucking hockey player. Okay. I'm not peeling on, this massive uniform on and off. No. But yeah, I know what you mean. And like you were saying though, that older generation thing, we just fucking do it.
Right.
We used to I'd come around in the racking and shit, and he'd walk in there and catch me. I mean, he could have fired me, but he knew what I was doing and why I was doing it. So, it's just, I guess it's that old school thing. 4 years, I never fell, and I wouldn't send the boys up because it was too dangerous. So I'd always take it on myself, because I told him if somebody falls and breaks their back, if it's me, at least I know it's not someone else. Like, I did it because I'm the boss. And he goes to me, there's only one problem with that. And I said, what? And he goes, when I'm in fucking court, when I'm getting charged, to go to prison, you're not going to be there. You're going to be in the fucking hospital bed, you bastard.
JT, I know we did this on when I appeared on your show most recently, but let's do it on here too, man. What's your predictions for 2022? What's going to happen in 2022?
So I've started thinking about it a little bit, and I know that sounds terrible because we're at the end of January, but I've got to basically sit down and record an episode doing that. That's one of the things on the list. I've got to release the episode where you and Timmy were on, and then I've got to record kind of like my predictions. Now, one that I made with you guys, and I was going to do it on the show, was that I could see an uptick in natural disasters this year because we had a really quiet year in 2021. And then lo and behold, here we go in Tonga.
Yeah.
Kicking off the year.
It was a good
one
prediction.
that I can see because of, well, it's like, what are the odds that we're going to have another super quiet year? And I just didn't see it. And unfortunately, another one I see kind of in that same vein, I would predict that this year you're going to see at least 3 to 5 countries basically have coups, like overthrow the country, because the way inflation and the fuel prices and that are impacting people. I mean, you've already seen it in Azerbaijan. And I mean, you see, again, if you haven't been out of the U.S., like, you know, again, don't get me wrong, $3 a gallon for gas or $4 a gallon, it's painful. But if you're in a country in, say, Africa, and you make fucking $10 a day, and gas is $3 a gallon, like, it just, you're not going to make ends meet. So if governments don't subsidize it, there's no way people can afford to, you know, be a taxi driver or whatever.
Right.
But I've just got this feeling that, now when I say that, again, I'm not saying France is going to have a coup or Brazil, but I just think that some of these countries where people are very close to not making ends meet already, I just can see there being unrest in those countries. And unfortunately, what tends to happen is if you have it happen, let's say it happens in Sudan, well, Egypt's next door and it tends to spread. So I hope it doesn't get too out of hand, but I can definitely see that happening. I think that we're just going to continue. Again, this is no shock, but I think we're just going to continue to see COVID rolling along and mutating, because as a species, we haven't reacted fast enough to kind of stamp out each variant. I don't see it. I think it's going to become like the new flu. Like,
oh, absolutely,
it's going to be seasonal. We're going to continue to see it. Yeah,
absolutely.
And also,
you know, it's like they're talking about, oh, well, you know, we're nearly done with this. I'm just saying, they say they're nearly done with this Omicron variant of the vaccine. Well, they're already talking that there's a new variant of Omicron. You know, it's like, it's always catch up. I just don't see us catching up.
And I don't think boosters are going to be the way forward either. I mean, eventually you're going to have to nail down some kind of herd immunity.
Yeah, that's what it's going to have to come
And I
down
think
to,
it's going to come down to that. We're all going to get it.
Right.
It'll be a lesser variant.
Yeah.
But honestly,
hopefully.
like, there are times where, like, you probably have got hit by the flu and not felt the whole brunt of it.
Because as bad as I felt with it, I don't think I nearly had it as bad as some people like last year that had the OG.
Yeah. The
Rona.
OG, yeah.
Right.
The OG Rona that actually took your breath away and you lost taste and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see too many of those anymore.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Right.
Hopefully it stays that way.
And they always say, like, once
and like you're saying, Scotty, it's like Israel. I think they've had the 2 shots and 3 boosters, and they've still got decent spread. Like you say, I mean, I want people to be as prepared as them, but it's not the magic bullet. It's not gonna. We're never going back to before, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's 12 monkeys, but this isn't like going away. It's not, because a lot of people are still going, oh, as soon as Corona's over, it's like, it's never going to be quote unquote over, at least in the short term.
No.
Things may get better, but yeah, it's like, we're not going on, everybody's not going cruise shipping, you know, in a year. It's just not happening.
But I also feel like after the Spanish flu was done with people, with that generation of people, they were saying the same thing with the Spanish flu.
Right. And that's one thing I feel like, especially,
the Spanish flu killed a lot more people than
it
COVID
did
does.
because we weren't nearly prepared for it.
Exactly.
As bad as it was,
like
this
50
time.
million worldwide, I think. Yeah.
As bad as it was now, it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, guys, that's episode 89
in the book.
In the books, they're playing our song.
Nice. JT, thanks for joining us, dude.
Hanging with us, man.
It was great to have you on tonight, brother.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
And we want to thank you for your Patreon patronage as well as the Jeff City Paranormal Society and
Biscuit String.
Johnny Biscuit.
Our next guest for next week.
You know Biscuit's lifting right now. He's sick as a dog, but he's out lifting.
He's training right now.
Right.
He's
that guy's ripping packs of cards apart with his butt cheeks.
He's like Rocky Balboa in Part 4 before the Rush, and he was over there in Russia running up mountains and shit. Like, just, he was like, Drago! Just give me some reverb.
And that's how he's going to the bathroom.
I can see him, man. He's probably doing like, he's doing one finger push up. Now he's like, oh, fucking Betty and Barney Hill this. I'll show you bastards.
Scotty, come on, give me some of that.
Give me some of that.
Oh my god.
I did it for you.
Right.
Whole bunch of goofiness going on over here
it's
tonight,
all
man.
about the goofiness tonight, man. This has been a great episode, fellas.
Absolutely, guys. As always, we can stick around for a little after hours.
I was gonna say, don't forget, if you're a Patreon patron, you get after hours access. You can hang out with us after the show. We talk about a little bit of everything, and we're behind a paid wall, so all goes, kids.
Yeah, we get weird.
Yeah, we get real weird. And
Holla,
sometimes you get a 5-minute
boy.
episode. Sometimes you get a 10-minute, 20, 40, 2-hour episode.
Yeah,
You never know.
and if you don't like it, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah,
just
you
kidding.
know what? Omicron's gonna get you no matter what. You wear a mask, I'm gonna get you.
Omicron is back.
Yeah, bitch.
Wait, I said Omicron.
All these radical motherfuckers out there,
That's
all
how we-
these Karens out there at the supermarkets trying to get you down and talking shit to you because you don't have a mask on.
They hate you, Omicron.
It doesn't matter
They
because
hate you so bad.
I'm gonna get you, bitch.
I'm gonna get you one way or another.
I'm gonna get
Omicron,
you.
everybody.
Omicron in the house. I'll see you all later.
Thanks
I
for
gotta
coming.
go take a shit. See ya.
Thanks for coming back again, Omicron. I hope we never see you again.
Oh. All right. Oh, fuck. I can't handle the Omicron.
I love it.
All right, man. Thanks, JT.
Peace.
Talk to you later, y'all.
Well, like I say, man, like it's always a pleasure.
Thanks, brother.
Keep it going. Oh, yeah.
For a transcript of the Old 77 podcast, write down everything the boys say.